so cozy. Are you cozy? I hope you're cozy. That's the big idea. Hello, hello. It's raining outside, and I feel like you should have the same ambient experience, even though the mic doesn't pick up the outside rain. It's raining for you too? That's excellent. Sorry to jump scare, but I kind of thought, you know, like opening timer music was not really the vibe I was going for. Hey, Dippy233, welcome back for 6 months. Hello. It's sunny here, but you can pretend. Yeah, use your imagination. I mean, I'm wearing my robe. I don't know. I hope you all are cozy, wrapped in a blanket or something if it's weather permitting. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. And Dizzy Ray, welcome back, both of you, for 4 months. Hello, hello. It's great to see you as well. I got a cup of coffee. Ooh, a big old cup of coffee, because last night I didn't sleep so much. And I just feel like, even though I would like to play some Ori and continue, I'm enjoying that game for sure. I just feel like it's very likely that I would just kind of fumble around, and I'm going to pull the rain sounds down just a bit. Rain is a little too loud. How about like that? Check, check, check. Is that okay? How do I like my coffee? With some milk and sugar. I don't... Thank you, Doctor Who. Thank you also to everybody who sent me some really nice messages after we completed Ghost of Yotei on Sunday. It was an intense 12-hour stream. I haven't done that in a long time. I don't even remember what year it was. Maybe the 5-year anniversary of this... I think 5-year anniversary. We played 14 hours straight for 4 years. I don't remember. For Detroit, it was the 3 years. Oh my gosh, time flies. Yeah, we haven't done like an ultra long stream like that in a long time. And ooh, I paid for it the next day, team. I was real tired, but you know, here we are. Amelia and I are going to be going to London for Comic-Con. We're going to be at MCM Comic-Con, and so we will not be streaming for a little while we're traveling. And I really wanted to get Ghost of Yotei completed before anything was spoiled for me. And I'm really grateful that I did, and I'm glad that I can still play some Ghost of Yotei on the other side, and I'm sure that I will. That's probably a game that I'm gonna get the 100%, you know, platinum it up. Raven Wing Dragon, thank you so much for the gifted sub to JC Rad, and Quinny Wins, thank you for 10 months of support. Thank you, thank you. You know, Mina and whatnot, we actually were planning to go to Australia. That was our convention. We had 2 conventions in Australia, actually, for March of 2020. If you want to take any guesses why that didn't happen. And we haven't done a convention in the whole time. So, yeah. Ziwa Woowa, thank you for the gifted sub to M Spittlesticks. Appreciate you. So, you know, it is what it is. We're one day at a time, you know? One day at a time. Geek Vibes 101, welcome back for 25 months. Have fun going to MCM in London. Thank you. I really look forward to it. I've met some really nice people in the UK. Some of my favorite people live there, so it'll be really nice to get some time to see everybody in person. That's the big thing for me, is like, how do I get to, I don't know. Put a name to a face is like a simple way of saying it, but there's just something so nice about like connecting with people in person at events, and then for years afterward, I now just know you all better. I mean, you get to see me all the time, but you know, it's nice to get to see you. You know. Hold on. Let's see here. I have played Five Nights at Freddy's. I have played Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and we've played Security Breach. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm probably gonna play any more Five Nights at Freddy's. I think I'm done with that. Berliner Saft, thank you for being here with a gift sub to Big Hug. Thank you for the big hug. Yeah, and I'm gonna call it like it is. I don't think I need Little Nightmares 3 either. I just don't need it. So that being said, we need like a new game for the other side when we come back, because we've just finished Ghost of Yotei. I will continue playing Ori. Maybe we'll do Ori tomorrow, assuming sleep is better. I think we are, a family on the mend, and it's hard to be super sleepy, and also stream. The Last of Us. Yep, we've played The Last of Us. So before I do the thing where I just say, yes, I've played that game, you can go to our Discord. We have a list of all the games that we have played. You can go on our YouTube, and we have an archive of many, many of those games. And I think !rank has a list of the top 128 games. Metal Gear Solid is an interesting choice. And then isn't there one? Don't we have a command that links to? Amelia made a page on our Discord that links all of, or maybe it's the same list, the game list one, that all go to the YouTube playlists of all the VODs. But yeah, it's time to find the next game. There's some games that I'm looking forward to. The Jurassic World. Whatever the fuck, Jurassic World Expedition 3 or something. What is it called? That looks fun. Did I play Hogwarts Legacy? No. I'm a conscientious objector to Hogwarts Legacy. It's a bummer because I like Harry Potter. I really did like Harry Potter, especially as a young person. But in fact, it's like the only game people ask us not to play. And I have a list of over 30,000 game recommendations from people over the last 7 years, and yeah, Hogwarts Legacies is the only game that people ask me not to play. So, because J.K. Rowling's a piece of shit, basically. I just don't want anybody to feel like they're not recognized, But please don't make my life complicated and clip that and post it, and then I have to deal with fucking trolls and turf bitches for the rest of my days, Oh. Bukharic, hello, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And Keatman, what's up? I can't, I don't know. We talked about this a little bit actually on the Yotei stream, but I really believe in, like, investing your life in things you love and care about. And if you invest your life in things that upset you, you are not gonna succeed at changing anything. I think you have to use this phrase, like, play the positive. But, like, if you want, I want people to live a good, fulfilled life. I don't want people to feel like the world is up against them. And we live in a really polarizing time, so pretty much anything you say or do is going to piss off somebody. So you have to kind of choose who you're going to piss off, right? And I really think that the internet, I have been caught in the cycle of negative world spin. I mean, I have opened up my social media, and, like, before I even have my cup of coffee, I get, like, enraged, by something, and then I'm like, I'm gonna fucking deal with this, and I just start going, I'm gonna preach to the choir and get some retweets of anger. And then you do, but to what end? You know what I mean? At what end? And then I'm not happier for it. You're not happier for it. No, there's not a politician on this planet that follows me on social media, and there's definitely like no chance that anybody's going to be like, oh, the android from Cyberlife hates bigotry. We should stop being bigots. Like bigots are going to bigot, and the only way you can deal with that is to just go away from them. Let them have a shitty life somewhere. So if that's useful to you, because we've had some people in our community over the years who've been real riled up about things that are really important to them, and I get that, and that's okay. You're supposed to have things you're passionate about, but it's the way you deal with that that is gonna determine your own experience. I watched this documentary. There's a Woodstock documentary. Woodstock is a music festival. It's been going on since the very first one, which I believe was in the 60s. And they're in this giant field. Of course, everybody in the 60s is doing all sorts of drugs and stuff. And in this documentary, there's a section where someone comes over the loudspeaker and goes, attention, everyone. There's apparently some brown acid going around that you should be careful with. So just be careful if you take some of that brown. You know what? Whatever. It's your trip, man. They like made a public service announcement to watch out for the acid, and then during the acid trip announcement, they were like, whatever, it's your trip. Like, if you want to have a bad trip, fucking have a bad trip. That's how I feel about life. Like, if you want to take the brown acid, fine. But don't tell me about it, you know? Like, just, I don't know. I've, oh, me, welcome back for 75 months. Thank you for being here. But I really do believe that like, life is our own trip, you know? And, you can spend your days miserable if you like to, but not me. So today I want to just have, like, cozy, comfy vibes. I thought we would look through some November game releases. We did that for December. We did that for the October games, and actually discovered a handful of really awesome games that I'm looking forward to. And so I thought it could be cool to do this kind of each month, looking forward at what's coming out in the next month. It's also a nice way to get like vibe check from you all. Like, what are you into? What are you not into? What do you want us to play maybe on stream? And I also think it could be cool to keep finding some more indie games to feature, because that's a newer thing we've been doing, is like this little indie game showcase. And it's nice because we don't necessarily have to commit to the whole thing. I am a task completion dude. It is bothersome to me to not finish a task that I've started. And there's something about doing like a showcase of indie games where it's like, well, the purpose is to like test out like a handful of things and see what's coming down the pipeline, and not necessarily like engage with a whole playthrough of something. And yeah, I just like to discover it. So will we stream for Halloween? Halloween this year, I believe, is on Friday. We don't usually stream on Fridays right now. Our schedule is Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think our Halloween streams are going to be Saturday, Sunday. So it will be like the November 1st and 2nd. If people are still feeling Halloween vibes, which could be cool. But again, as I've mentioned a couple of times before when we watch these trailers, I just am so exhausted as a person right now that the idea of playing a game that makes me super tense or like jump scared or anxious or whatever, it's just not appealing. Like, it might be fun for you all, but like, there's tons of streamers who are streaming scary games around Halloween, so maybe I just don't need to do it. You're playing the new Ratchet and Clank recently. You know, I was talking about that with Amelia last night. Amelia and I were talking about games that we played off stream that helped us like reinvigorate our love for streaming or for gaming, and Ratchet and Clank Rips Apart is one of Amelia's favorite games in that case. And she was speaking high praises of that. So if you haven't checked that one out, Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart is one of Amelia's favorite games. She actually played that whole game herself, beat the whole thing, and all of it off air, which was cool for me as a gamer husband. Have I played Heavy Rain? Yes, it was actually the first game that we played on stream. Before Detroit Become Human was released, it was sort of my test for getting things up and running, and oh, am I glad I did that, because I've fixed so many issues during that playthrough and learned about the tech setup of streaming. You wouldn't know it from our stream 7 years later, still having a lot of tech issues, but they're different tech issues. Toddsville, welcome back for 89 months, and Deviant Jules, welcome back for 61 months. Yay for a chill, cozy, comfy stream. Hope all is well. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're tired, and we're also, making the preparations to leave town for the convention. Just chill and play Overwatch. You know, I was checking my what do you call it? GPU when I started up the stream, because the playback of this little this. Do you like this better? Is this better? Screen? I don't know if it's necessary. It's kind of redundant. But it said that 657 hours of Overwatch. I know. 657 hours of Overwatch. It's got to be the game I've played the most of, for sure. Brooke in Wonderland, thank you for the cheers. Do I have a Halloween costume picked out? No. Do you all? I guess I'm kind of running out of time. I don't know. There's something about Halloween that it always sneaks up on me. I guess I'm just... I don't know. I kind of like... As an actor, you get the experience to kind of like play pretend a lot, and so it doesn't feel kind of like, I think like a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is my chance, and they go hard on the costumes and they get real detailed with it. They got plans month in advance what they're gonna do, and for me, I'm always kind of like, oh shit, it's Halloween. What do I? I'll be a tired dad. I need a corncob pipe with this robe on it. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm Sherlock Holmes on an off day. Hey, Charismatic, thank you for subscribing with your Prime. Hello. Yeah, I'm a tired actor for Halloween. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to at MCM Comic Con is everybody's cosplay. I really think cosplays are cool, and especially like the builders who do like wings and armor and weapons that look like they're battle-worn and stuff. Like, that's cool. That's really cool. Frodo from Lord of the Rings. You know, my buddy who runs our D&D campaign, like our home campaign, we haven't played in maybe over a year. And he just sent out this email, and he always does, like, you know, we're an adventurers guild, so the idea is it's a bunch of one-shots. It's not like an ongoing campaign, but he like summons the adventurers together for another quest. He always kind of teases what the campaign's going to be about when he sends out the like when to meet thing, and it makes me so happy when I get this silly email, because he's like writing in character as his DM character, and it's really fun. So I look forward to that. We're going to be doing that around Halloween time, so that'll probably be my super dress up bit. I play as a dwarven cleric named Bismuth, and I'm going to write him an email back that says, Bismuth, in the meantime, since the last time we played, Bismuth fell down a mine shaft, and he hit his head, and he only remembers little bits and pieces of his former life. And because I don't remember, I can't commit to anything that maybe happened. So Bismuth is going to be having, like, you know, amnesia, and maybe every now and then, like, things will occur. Occur to him of, like, oh, right, my sword, or whatever. Yeah. Pesta Bunai, welcome back for 67 months. Hello. Hello, hello again. It's lovely to meet again. Shaboom, shaboom, ba-la-di-da-di-da. Yeah, you can remember false facts exactly. I'd be like, I remember I was a cover model, wasn't I? With the yarn beard, yeah. We have a little box of like costume pieces over here. 67 months. Yeah, it's a lot of months. There's some people on this channel who've been supporting our channel consistently for over 7 years, which is really amazing. I've known some of you longer than I've known anybody, which is really cool. It's really cool. Yeah, for sure. So, should we check out some game trailers? I mean, I want to check into, hey, mods, if anybody on our mod team, because they really, the mods get the vibe. The mods know what's up. But the mods pass and enforce the vibe check, and the mods are usually my best recommends on what would be a good game for us to check out. So if any of our mod team wants to throw some ideas into CL2, I guess, or we could put it in all mods, or maybe if anybody sees something, put it in all mods, drop it to CL2, because I'm running out of window or desktop real estate. I would like to check those trailers out. Some of them are probably going to be a little more hyped up than the Rainy Day vibe, so just to give you the idea, we might, you know, come and go from this chillness if we start watching game trailers, because they tend to have explosions and stuff. Hi, low-key Valkyrie. I'm grateful to have you here. I'm glad to have you join military family life. I was not in a military family, but my father worked in a hotel industry, and so I moved a lot as a kid. So I know that feeling. You know, Sorrel Spiral, welcome back for 67 months again. Hope you're all doing well. Great to be here. What was happening 67 months ago that was so cool? What was happening 67 months ago? Do you remember Sorrel Spiral and Pesta Benai, what we were doing then? And the question is, can you remember it faster than Scree can look into the archives? 6-7? 6-7 is a meme? Why are you also hyped about 6-7? You weren't listening. Scree, what was happening 67 months ago? Like, what even is 67 months ago? 67 here. That is mental math. Like, 67 divided by 12 is not something I can do. That's 5.5 years ago. What was happening 5.5 years ago? Well, half a year ago from October. October is the 10th month. So 6 months before. Must have been, was it Detroit? Beyond Two Souls, Animal Crossing, and Spider-Man. 67 meme? 6-7 is viral internet slang or meme, popular with Generation Alpha and the younger Generation Z. That essentially means nothing and everything at once. It originated from a rap song and is associated with basketball culture before being adopted for a variety of random, absurd contexts. Doot Doot 6-7 by Skrilla. It doesn't mean anything, which means it can mean everything? That sounds to me like 42. I don't know. Y'all are so hip. I have no idea what you're talking about. UA Vicky, thank you for being here. I feel like once I catch on to something, it's kind of over. Like, if I'm like, oh, bet. You know, everybody's like, no, we stopped saying bet like 4 years ago. All right, well, don't be ratchet. No, I don't know. I don't want to just, like, bet G? You still say bet? I mean, bet makes sense, like, you bet. Like, I've been saying you bet, or, you know, whatever. 42 is the meaning of life. 42 is not a meme. 42 is the answer to the big question. Okay, cool. It's okay. All right, so bet is okay. We can still say bet. Locked in is going around right now. Everybody telling me I'm locked in all the time. But it is interesting to see like kind of the evolution of you know, how things go. All right, so let's look up some game trailers, eh? Oi. Oh, the neck crack. Yeah, well, I do lock in. I mean, people were saying that to me during the final boss fight of Ghost of Yote, which, by the way, is, I'm gonna say it, my game of the year. And I might even debate that. I thought about, so at MCM Comic Con we're gonna do a panel, and at first they were like, "You want to do a Detroit Become Human panel?" And I was like, "Yeah, but not really." Do you want to do a panel about storytelling in video games? Because we can talk about Detroit, but I just like don't want to talk about only Detroit. I played so many other games that I love, and on stream I'd like to talk about and get into. And so I thought, you know, we could have a spirited debate between Amelia and I of why Ghost of Yote or why Expedition 33 is Game of the Year. I don't know if, I mean, it would be hard to like dodge spoilers on it, but I thought my idea with the panel is to get some questions from all of you in advance, because I know like not everybody like feels confident raising their hand in a big group or going up and talking on a microphone to ask a question or something. So I thought I could get some questions written in, and we could use those as like prompts to discuss with everyone. I also thought about we could do some kind of fun, like not necessarily trivia, but like discussing games and storytelling in games like in a broader way, and like what really makes it tick for us. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on and a lot of cool guests at MCM. If you can come, it would be awesome to see you. I know that there's like Chris Judge is going to be there. I'm pretty excited to potentially meet Chris Judge, aka Kratos. Brianna White, who plays Aerith in the Final Fantasy remakes, is going to be there. We are going to have you know, a chance to meet Ben Starr is going to be there. He plays Verso, and if I'm not mistaken, played Cloud. I think, is that correct? So there's a whole list on the list of MCM's website that'll show you Clive or Cloud. No, he played Clive. Sorry. As I mentioned, I'm very tired. Right. Yes. Ben plays Clive. Ben Starr is also in Dead Take, which I really enjoyed, and I thought you might dig if you haven't checked that one out with Neil. And yeah, there's just so many great performances in video games, and every year it seems like harder and harder to pick who do I think should win for best performer. I think that Lauren English, who played Mayel, did a great job. I really love Mayel. I think that was maybe like one of the more heartbreaking performances I've seen. But I gotta say, it's Erika Ishii for me. I really hope they win the golden joystick. So this is I told Erika, I called up and said after I finished Ghost of Yote, I said basically, you know, you did such an incredible job on this, and I want you to know this is my game of the year. No matter what about awards and stuff, it's all just, you know, it's all hype, it's all marketing, it's all whatever. But I was like, just like friend to friend, like I played a lot of games this year, and Ghost of Yote is absolutely my favorite. And I said I'm going to begin my covert campaign to to get you to the what is this? Golden. Oh, cool. That's cool. To get you a golden spiral. So I thought, or not golden spiral, a golden joystick. I almost said, Erika, if you don't win the golden joystick, you can have mine. Because I really just think she should be proud of what she did in that game. All right. I see something cool on the MCM website that our mods are sharing. Dechart Games Fan Meet by Doctor Who, Super Scree, and Deviant Bet G. And that is really, really cool. So on Sunday, October 26th, which is the third and final day of MCM Comic-Con, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, there's going to be a meetup outside the west entrance, bottom of the stairs, a fan meetup for Dechart Games streams and Detroit Become Human to hang out and share gifts. Multiple people will also be cosplaying as Brian and Amelia's original Resident Evil characters, Ethan and Winters, if anyone needs help deciding a cosplay. That's really cute. I think that's awesome that you've got that up on the thing. So you can find that on their website, MCM's Comic-Con's website. And it's hosted by the Threethans. I can't wait to see pictures. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now that I know this, I'm supposed to find out in the next like day or two what our schedule is for the event, like locked in. The Friday, our panel will be on Friday, but it was posted that it was going to be at like 3:40, and then they posted it was like at 5:20, and so anyway, long story short, I'm not exactly sure what time, but it's going to be in the afternoon on Friday. They just emailed to change the time today. What did they put it to, Scree? Is it back to earlier? Because it was later in the day, and there's so many things to schedule. There's not a schedule for photos and autos yet. So when they do have that, I will 5:35. Yeah, but see, I think that might be the. Well, don't believe anything until like I post about it, because they keep adjusting it. And I think it's because they have different availability they have to figure out for all of the different attendees and stuff. So organizing a convention is hard. I'm sure there's a lot of moving pieces. And besides that, they literally have to coordinate a lot of people coming and going from the event. The raining video is from YouTube. I just googled, what does it say? It's sitting on the porch on a stormy day, heavy rain and fireplace sounds to sleep, relax, rest, and study. I just googled rainy day ambiance on YouTube. It won't mute the VOD, I don't think, but I also don't really care. Oh, thanks, Tostitos, you're sweet. Some streams it just is kind of like, for me, it's like only the live stream, and then if other people, if you miss it, you missed it. Oh, resisting the urge to smash this cup on the ground and yell huzzah. Earl of Sandwich is in the house. What it is, Earl? Here's a big old rainy day hug. Are you enjoying this rain, my bro? It's been a long time since we've seen real rain. It's been a long time since it was raining. A long time. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time. For those of you who may not know, my buddy Earl streams on Twitch as well as Earl of Sandwich, and is known to many as Norio from Ghost of Tsushima. Earl, how are you progressing? Thinking of making some soup? Can I come over and have some? Earl is a great chef. And especially, I think one of my favorite things, we haven't had a potluck in so long. It's too sad. Having a baby and trying to host parties is a conflict of interest. But one of the best things that I ever see is when I open my door and it's Earl and he's holding a crock pot. That's like, what if I get to the pearly gates of heaven, what do I want to see? I want to see Earl holding a crock pot, assuming Earl wants to be there. Okay, Earl, I'll cut you a deal, man. I'll meet you in the afterlife. Yeah, your signature potluck move. Yeah. Fuck Valhalla. I don't need Valhalla. I just need Earl's crockpot situation. And, oh, man, he makes some great food. Oh, I make some great food. He also made this spicy caramel. What did you call that stuff, man? That was it wasn't kimchi caramel, but it had like some funky zest on it. And I just that guacamole Gokujang caramel, am I saying that correctly? It was nice. Oh, is that good? The stream last time did reach 12 hours, yeah. Yeah, that was a long stream. Is playback kind of choppy? I'm noticing some playback kind of choppy. Are y'all getting a smooth enough stream? You staying stable? Is this smooth? I think it's okay now. Alright, let me know. If that happens again, let me know and I'll see if I can make some adjustments. But I got a lot of monitors up. Do I listen to Elliott Smith? I'm familiar with Elliott Smith. In fact, a dear friend from high school named their child Elliott after Elliott Smith and has an Elliott Smith tattoo on his arm. So yeah, I'm familiar. This is a rain scene. Is this my actual house? That would be cool. Oh, I would love it. Look at this. Can you imagine having a nice wooden porch with a fireplace, a stone fireplace like that? Do you listen to Radiohead? Yeah, I listen to Radiohead. I wouldn't say like, consistently or anything, but yeah, I'm familiar with Radiohead and like that. Tips for growing on Twitch. You mean as a streamer, I'm assuming. You would have a soggy rug? Yeah. But it would be worth it because we would have an outdoor fireplace to dry it off with. But this looks like Pacific Northwest to me. This looks like upstate Washington or something. My tip for growing on Twitch is consistency. And that has been the hard thing for me as a new parent because it's been hard to know what life's going to throw at you. Some days you're just like today. I was like, I slept like an hour and a half total last night. I feel like it was a lot of up and down, waking up in the night. We didn't go to bed early enough anyway because, it's like the days where you think you can get away with staying up late, then all of a sudden you can't. And so that is a tricky thing. So I would say the best thing to grow on Twitch is to really communicate to your community and let viewers know what you're going to be playing in advance. And then really sticking to that schedule as best you can. Obviously, people are pretty understanding because, it's just like, I'm not doing, it's not like, I'm not rescheduling anyone's brain surgery, right? I'm not like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you the transplant you need today. So if you can't stick to your schedule as a streamer, that's one of the benefits. Yeah, Krito, we just finished Ghost of Yotei actually on Sunday. It's my favorite game this year. I'm going to say it over and over again. But if you can have a schedule that you can communicate to your community, I really think that goes a long way. I think sticking to a schedule consistently is a good idea. I would really recommend in marketing, there's this term under promise and over deliver. So I would say that if you're still figuring out what your schedule is going to be, then I would say like pick a day or 2 days that you know for sure you can commit to, and then add to it instead. And then like what we do is like bonus streams. So like we don't usually have a scheduled stream in the evening because it's really tricky for me to figure out if I get too many, life throws too many curveballs at me in the evening time to guarantee a stream in the evening, but we do bonus streams when I can pop on and go live anyway. So I think it's better to like do a stream and then add extra ones instead of be like, I'm going to stream 5 days a week and then not be able to do that. And then people tune in being like, hey, where's the stream? You said 5 days a week. And then after that happens a couple times, I think people kind of like, it's like the boy who cried wolf, they like don't believe that a stream's going to happen. And one thing we did really well for the first 6 years of streaming before we had a baby was we really communicated like, this is the game we're playing, and this is the game we're playing next. And then people kind of are able to follow and connect the dots because it can be tricky, right? If you have one game that you're playing, and then you, after you finish that game, like in this case, I don't know what we're going to play next. So it's a little harder for people to be like, oh, I'm looking forward to what comes up next. But what do you all think? I mean, what would be your tips for a streamer to succeed on Twitch or on any streaming platform? Like what helps you as a viewer to want to get on with? Yeah. Setting it like a favorite TV show with a set time, like daily or weekly, for people to build a schedule around, so echoing consistency. Yeah, I think there's kind of two ways to do it. You can either play the game that you're playing right now, like we just did with Yote, and play that game every time you stream, which is easy because you don't have to explain too much. But I have historically been like, this is our Tuesday game, this is our Saturday game, this is our Sunday game, because realistically, you know, Ghost of Yote, it was probably hard for a lot of people to be available every single day for a week to watch a stream, right? So I know that was kind of an exception, but as a streamer, it was really nice because then I really got to like deep dive into the game instead of this kind of like jumping from controls and different platforms and all kind of things. Chatting with the chat, for sure. That is important. I think that you got to kind of also learn to ebb and flow with that, because sometimes you can really be chatty. Like right now, I'm not distracted by a boss fight. But other times, or like in the middle of an Overwatch game, like how can I possibly, you know, I can't read chat when I'm trying to escort the payload. You have the same Darth Vader statue? Yeah, this is, so my bro gave me this for a Christmas present one year when I first moved out to LA. And he was basically like, dude, Christmas is for toys. I'm not getting you socks. I'm not giving you a gift card. I'm going to always give you toys. And my brother gave me that. So that's a little bit of a keep playing reminder. And then that's what that sign that's back behind it over my shoulder, the LEDs, or the neon sign says, keep playing. Hey, KV, welcome back for 7 months. That's a good bro, right? He looks cozy, but he can be cozier for sure. Thank you. Also, cross-posting content like clips and moments on other platforms to generate growth from other social medias too. Yeah, that's a great Mikatsu Kitty. That's a good piece of advice. I think that like I'm really bummed about Twitter's demise. I invested a lot of time and energy on Twitter when it was Twitter, before it became the hellfire bullshit site that it is now. And unfortunately, after 6 years or so of using Twitch as like kind of a Twitter as kind of like a hub for people to communicate when we were off air, you know, the whole political climate of this country and the whole world, it's just not it's not a good place to be. I do still use Twitter because I know there are people in our community who use Twitter, and I want them to know about the streams. And you should all, like, in full disclosure, when we do a sponsored stream or something, part of the requirement is that I post on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's like a necessary evil in a way. I hear some of you saying that Blue Sky is better. Yeah, but I also feel like Blue Sky is almost like the other side of the same coin. It's just so many people so riled up, and usually pissed about the same things that I'm pissed about, but like, I just don't want to be pissed. I just don't want to, there's so much anger on the internet. So honestly, I scroll on Instagram is what I like Instagram because I like, I don't know, I like the little articles that are like, there's one I sent Amelia the other day. Let me see the name of the painter. Like the kind of stuff that I like to look at on social media is, okay, the artist who mastered the trees. This is Ivan Shishkin. He lived 1832 to 1898, and these are paintings. These are oil paintings of trees, and they're just like amazingly beautiful. And like this is the kind of shit I have time for. You know, the last Amelia and I just send each other stuff on Instagram back and forth. And then there's this architect named Javier Senosian, who did all these like incredibly organic. I mean, it's hard to see with the screenshot, but like really natural architecture, like no straight lines, a lot of natural elements. Like this is a closet, but they're like these little like cubby kind of. So like I like architecture and design, sculpture, photography, painting, and I feel like Instagram has a lot more of that kind of stuff. And I used to get that on the algorithm from X, but or on Twitter, but now that it's X, I just see like, you know, here's an attempted mugging gone wrong, and it's retweeted 3,000 times, and it's like somebody punching somebody else in the head. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. Like, I don't need to see it. And it feels like a kind of warmongering. You'd love Tumblr. Yeah, or like Pinterest is cool. But have I tried photography myself? You know, photography is how I survived until I booked Detroit Become Human. I mean, I had acting work and stuff, but it's intermittent. You know, it's back and forth. So photography is how I sustained myself for more than a decade. Yeah. I really love photography. I'd like to get back to it more. And I've had some ideas about portrait photo shoots that I've wanted to do. But, you know, the camera that I use for my photography is now my streaming camera. And so I'm still, you know, using those skill sets and things. But what's my favorite camera for photography? I mean, this is a Canon 5D Mark IV, which I really like. I'm for photography. The lens that I'm using right here is an 18 to 35, and it's a really bright lens. It's like a 1.2 telephoto lens, which is like insanely bright. And this is one of my favorite lenses for portrait photography. And then also I have an 85 1.2 lens, which is really good for headshots and portraits and stuff, because you can stay a good distance from your subject. But if I was going to get another camera, going for now, I would, if I was going to start from scratch, I would probably get a mirrorless camera, and probably something smaller, like one of the little Sony ones, because even though it's cool to have this big ass lens and a heavy camera, that's really only good for me in like a studio setting. If you go and you're shooting with somebody like in the world, it's a lot of gear to bring with you, and it's certainly not good for travel. I mean, on travel, I just take pictures with my iPhone because, like, I don't want to be on a boat with a, you know, $7,000 worth of gear, you know? I'd rather drop my phone in the ocean. You know. But really, I've heard it said that the best camera is the one that you have with you, and I don't usually carry around this giant thing. Toshter, thank you for being here for 54 months. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the company, everybody. Have I played any of the Dragon Age games? No, I haven't. But we talked about maybe Dragon Age is so big. I would say that most of the games we haven't played that have been really recommended are either scary, like psychological thriller / horror games, like a Silent Hill kind of a thing, or so big that what happens is, and I will in full disclosure, because here we are just having this chat about Twitch streaming and stuff, maybe another good piece of advice is to like really ask your community what do they want to play, because I have noticed that a lot of times people have an idea of, oh, I love this game from my childhood, I want you to play Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD, and then you do, You start streaming that game, and people show up for the first one. They're like, "Oh my god, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD! I love this game when I was a kid." And then on the second stream, half of the people are gone. On the third stream, 3/4 of the people are gone. And then you have to make it through like 8 streams or more of like people being like, when I was a kid, I never played this level. I only played the first 3 levels. I don't have any nostalgia dopamine hits coming from this. I don't know. And then when you get towards the end, the engagement and stuff goes back up again. So that's okay if you really love the game. But if you're playing, for instance, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD, and you don't really love it, and the audience that recommended you play it doesn't keep coming back for it, then you're like, what am I doing? This is going to have to take, this is going to take me I got to 4 months to get to the end of this game so I can start the next game. And as I told you earlier, I have a bit of a completion issue. I need to finish stuff that I start. And so it's hard for me if I'm going to play a game that takes 100 hours to play through. I gotta really like it. So when it comes to really big games, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Red Dead Redemption 2, I think those are some, GTA 5, I think those are some of the bigger, I think those are some of the bigger games that we've played, and I feel like Dragon Age is about as big. Baldur's Gate 3 I enjoyed, but it was just too much. I like to play D&D to play one character. I don't want to play D&D as everybody. Is there a mode that you can do that where like all the NPCs just do their own shit and play along with you? Does it ever bother that people constantly does it ever bother you that people constantly tie you to Connor? No. I am like kind of unimpressed by the originality sometimes. Like, say 28 stab wounds, like, yeah, okay, go watch a clip of me saying it like 1,000 other times. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't mind. I'm proud of that character. I'm proud of the work on that. I started streaming because I like wanted to engage with the community of Detroit, and I wanted to like get to. Honestly, when I first started streaming, first started using Twitch, I wanted to watch other people play Detroit because I wanted to see how did they like it. I wanted to like sit in the audience of my own show, Metal Gear Solid has been recommended a couple of times, and that's like probably one of the games that I know has like a very strong and cinematic story. So I think that could be a good option. So is it not an option with Baldur's Gate to have it just like have AI play the rest of your party members? Dragon Age is pretty big, but it's a commitment. Yeah. Yeah, we did play some Cult of the Lamb. I think we played it for a month or so when it first came out. Wow, you have 4,000 hours in Red Dead Redemption 2. That's amazing. That's amazing. You must not have a 1-year-old child. You can do multiplayer. Yeah, well, Amelia and I did play in multiplayer. What I'm talking about is like all the rest of the party. Like when I play D&D, I like to get in the role in my mind of this like dwarven cleric. And I want to think about the story and the problem and the moves and the game from the point of view of a dwarven cleric. But it's just a lot for me to be like, okay, so as a cleric I'm doing this, and then as a bard I'm doing this, and then as a rogue I'm doing this. Like, to me, I don't love D&D that much that you can kill them all. Yeah, but then I can't progress. I don't know, I kind of feel like I feel like Baldur's Gate is going to be one that I come and go from, that I go we'll probably dip in and play a month of Baldur's Gate and then like let it chill for a while again. But like I said, I like to complete things, so it does every time we set a game down and it's not completed. Like right now, having Ori open and like as an open tab in my brain, like I want to finish that game because I need to see it through. No, it's as a mod. Yeah. Yeah, well, and the other thing about having like multiplayer thing is that you have to have both players. So the reason why Amelia and I had to kind of pause with our Baldur's Gate thing is that we were playing together, each of us with our characters. But now, as you see, is difficult for us both to stream at the same time unless we can schedule a babysitter. And so that's reliant on some other person being available to help us, and then we have to hire a babysitter, and sometimes hiring a babysitter to do the stream just to earn the money to pay for the babysitter feels a little mute, right? So it's just because we couldn't really make progress unless both of us were able to be there. It would be difficult for us. It would just take us too long. You know. And then there's some other games that I think when the story is lighter, like the simulator games, if they're bigger, like Subnautica, or I'm guessing like this Jurassic World Evolution 3 thing, that doesn't give me the same like I gotta finish it feeling. Like if I play Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? You could build a roller coaster, launch some people, and just get on with your life. Do you play Ghost of Yotei? Yes, Vlad. I just finished it, and well, not finished it. I completed the main story, and I will 100% that game. I really think so. I'm curious, what are you all playing right now? What are the games you're playing? And what's up with Earl? Earl, what do you're streaming Yotei, right? Are you playing something else alongside it, or are you just deep diving into Ghost of Yotei? You've been playing some Jedi Survivor, currently playing Phasmophobia, Resident Evil 7. Ooh, that one's real creepy, EP. That might be one of the creepiest ones, honestly. There's some messed up stuff in that game. Last of Us 2, okay, Dead Island 2, Borderlands, a lot of love for that. Metal Gear Solid, V, Phantom Pain. Nice. What is my favorite game? I gotta put Ghost of Yotei up there. I gotta say that's Skate, nice, and Persona 5. The Persona series is another one of those where it's just so big that it's hard to imagine. Hades 2 I could see us streaming. I really enjoyed when we played Hades 1. We didn't totally complete that game, but we did have a good time doing it. Yes, I'm gonna be at MCM Comic Con. It's October 24th, 5th, and 6th, I believe. We'll be there all 3 days. You're 100%ing Dragon Age right now. Whoa. Right now we're playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and then after that I would like to play Hollow Knight. And if I can complete Hollow Knight, then I'll give Silksong a go. That's kind of like my little Tuesday plan. Dreamlight Valley, Crash Bandicoot, love it. Red Dead Redemption, love it. Jedi Survivor is coming up again and again. Slay the Princess, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that one. I've been messaging a little bit with Luke Dale, who is in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I would like to play that game. Let's see what else we got. Playing Cyberpunk, nice. It Takes Two is great. Great choice. Started Ghost of Tsushima, also Zelda, GTA, and Fortnite. Uncharted, I love the Uncharted games. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Brendan. Yoo-hoo! Mysterious stranger. Honestly, if somebody comes into my chat and they're like, yo, Brendan from Cyberpunk, I'm like, yo, you're cool. You get it. Just so you know. If you know, you know. That was a fun one. We met the team from CD Projekt Red in 2018, and I was dressed as Connor at E3. And we met a bunch of people at the Cyberpunk initial, like, hands-off demo that they showed there. And we were basically like, yo, we want to work on this game. And they were like, hold that thought. And then we went to Comic-Con in, we did like 4 of them or five countries in a row. We went to Switzerland, we went to Kiev, Ukraine, and then we went to Warsaw, Poland, and we met with the team and discussed working on Cyberpunk, and then they put us, Amelia and I are together actually in that game. We have a little side quest storyline. If you're looking for us, it's in Japantown near Mega Building 8. Walk around until you find a vending machine that calls out to you. And that's me. Let's see. What about Bully? You know, my buddy Ben, Ben Levin, a.k.a. you all know him as Grasshopper. He was in Bully. He was the first person I knew that worked on a video game. That's, for those of you who are not familiar, Bully is a Rockstar game that is, you know, got some bullying in it. I actually hate bullying in video games. There's been a number of games that I've played where the antagonist is you being bullied. Sea of Storms, Concrete Genie. There's some other ones that have it, and I really hate it. I really hate it. It's just like I don't want to live in a bully simulator. Like, it's just too much for me. I don't know if it's triggering from being a kid or what it is, but I just really don't like the game being like, na, 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 you suck. And I'm like, why am I playing this? I could be playing Crash Bandicoot and he's just my homie, you know? Like, I feel like sometimes games go too hard on that kind of stuff. Will you be playing the James Bond game next year? Kyle Hunter, yes. That looked awesome. Yeah, that comes out the week after my birthday. And it looks like Hitman meets Uncharted 4 plus some cool, like, driving, like, you know, Gran Turismo kind of shit. And James Bond is cool. I've always thought James Bond is cool. So yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. Is Ark Raiders the one that's got dinosaurs? I like dinosaurs too, while we're at it. Let's see. You know what, and I'm gonna say, like, on the bullying thing, that was actually kind of the issue with Life is Strange 2 for me. Where I was like, I get that we're dealing with important social issues, but, like, putting me in the hot seat of that just wasn't fun. You have to make it fun, and it's never fun to be bullied. That's never like my thing. And, like, it's different somehow when it's like the bad guy in the game's like, I'm gonna kill you and your family, and you're like, no you're not, and then you kill the bad guy. It's different than being like, ha ha, you suck, I don't like you, and then you have to, like, fight the bully, because there's never like, ha ha, you suck, and then you, like, slit his throat and the game's over. You know, that would not go over well in society. But I like my bad guys to be bad enough that if we fight them, it's appropriate. But if you're just, like, running away from things that are bullying you, I'm like, no, thank you. Have I played God of War? Yeah, I played God of War 2018 right after I played streamed Detroit Become Human for the first time. I owe that game a replay because I had been out of gaming for about a decade, really. And I just think I made it through, but I'm sure it would be a lot of fun to do that one again. And then we played God of War Ragnarok together on stream more recently. We love the God of War games, are so cool, and mythology and the storytelling is so strong in those games. Some of my favorite studios are Insomniac, Santa Monica Studios, Naughty Dog. All of those have they really put an emphasis on performers and performance, and they don't bury who played the things. You know, like, I love that Santa Monica Studios is like, Chris Judge is Kratos in God of War. I like that. That's a good look for a game that relies so heavily on performance. So I don't like it when, and I'm not going to say which companies, but some companies, especially Japanese companies, it seems, tend to really, like, bury who are the performers that played the game, and they, like, don't want you to know or think about it. I have friends who've worked on some really cool projects that do not get support from the developers of the game, and they in fact don't want them to, like, go to a convention and do a thing, which I think is, like, a weird kind of gatekeeping. It's like, there's room for everybody, you know, like, you can let the but it's just a different culture thing. And I think also if games that have like you know, it depends on the language of origin of the game too. So like obviously I know the English cast for most things, right? I don't live in Japan. But yeah, different companies have different kind of attitudes towards the performers, and what's cool is the ones that really support their performers. Like Insomniac just did this reveal of Liam, who plays obviously fucking Wolverine, and they did this like little interview with him at State of Play and like introduced him as who's playing Wolverine, and I just thought that was really a classy, cool look, and like, why not let there be movie stars of video games? Like, who does it hurt, you know? How do I feel about game remakes versus remasters? I don't think about that too much. I am really grateful when games get to be better, you know, because as someone who's played a lot of games based off people's recommendations, a lot of times the game doesn't hold up to how it did. Okay, as an example, I don't know how many of you remember dial-up internet speed, but it used to be that you had to drag a cable across the room, plug in to the phone jack, and listen to some annoying modem connection sounds to get yourself on the internet. And I really truly remember the internet getting slowly faster and faster and faster. We've reached a point now where it's like you really only notice the difference between, you know, 500 megabytes down versus 1,000 megabytes down when you're downloading something that's really big. But it used to be that, like, if you wanted to open a page, you clicked, you hit enter, you waited, the page showed up, right? And so that little waiting time got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. But we are conditioned as we experience it to like move along with the progress of it. So even though when I first got on the internet, right, in like 8th grade or something, it must have taken like a full minute to download a page sometimes, right? Like a long time to wait for a stupid little video to buffer enough to play it. But now, if my Wi-Fi, and we have fiber optic internet, and if the Wi-Fi is going kind of slow, I'm like, oh man, it took like 2.5 seconds to open that page, right? Your standards keep increasing as the technology gets better and better. So when it comes to like remasters and remakes and stuff, to me, I'm really grateful that they bring a game forward, because back in the day, when we played those games the first time, we were like, Spyro? Are you freaking kidding me? I move the character with this joystick and the camera with this joystick? That's amazing. And that was like enough for us to be like blown away by it, graphically and game design wise. But then if you go back and play it now, the original one, you know, you low polygon count and the controls are kind of clunky and stuff. So when they redid it and they gave you Spyro and like brought it into the new generation, I'm really grateful, because that makes me, if I missed out on the game the first time around, able to play it, but a little bit more like as it was meant to be played, rather than like through this kind of like nostalgic lens. Like I'll still play Crash Bandicoot 1, you know, on the PlayStation. I have a PS1 copy that I play on the PS2. And I think it holds up and it plays just as well, but when I play the remaster, I play with the D-pad, even though it's graphically improved, the controls are better, and, you know, they've like made it all, you know, pretty and shined it up. But like that game is meant to be played with a PlayStation 1 controller, I think. But I don't know. I think there's like, for instance, I think that that's a thing where people get riled up on the internet. Oh, it's a cash grab. You're just remaking the same game that you already sold. It's like, well, then don't buy it and go do something else. Like, go for a walk. Like, if you're on the internet bitching about people making something creatively, like, you don't have to buy it just because things are offered to you. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of fake gamers out there. I think there's a lot of like people that want to be, that like they know gaming culture has like a lot of engagement and like it's, you know, they get a lot of responses. There's some people on the internet like that are like gaming personalities who I really think they're just rage baiting people, because if they get engagement, they get money. They're like, if I can piss off enough people because I said some hateful shit about some video game and got some other hateful people who were just looking for something to be mad about, a thing to be mad about, then like they can run ads against it and they get money. So like your upset is turning into you watching 3 seconds of an ad before you hit skip that gives them 1 penny. But if they do that for piss off enough people, then, right? So you accidentally killed Marcus in Detroit. That's okay. You can play again. That's the cool thing about that game, is you can have new. Don't worry about it. It's funny, people do come up to me at companies or at conventions and Comic Cons, and they're like, "I'm so sorry I got you killed," and I'm like, "That's okay. That's all right. I won't worry about it." King Derp, what's up, my homie? Welcome back for 36 months. Thank you. For 3 whole years of support. Let's see. Yo, what's up, Dark One? Thank you for joining. And hey, Jacob. So Amelia and I can talk about games that we're working on once the games have been announced, and usually it's once they've been released, depending on the thing. But I can say that Amelia and I have two games that we are both in together that should be coming out in 2026 as far as my best intel goes. But I'm not allowed to say about them until the game comes out. I haven't played the whole Witcher series, but I've played Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. But yeah, one of the games is Evolutus Duality, which I'm allowed to talk about because Amelia and I cast that game. And we also did the vocal production for it. So we directed the actors, we recorded them in the vocal booth that we built right here, which is a really cool project, and it has some amazing actors in it. Some people like Roger Clark, who plays Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. We've got Sissy Jones, who won a BAFTA for performance in Firewatch as Delilah. We have Dave Fennoy, Sissy also worked on the Walking Dead Telltale games, but Dave Fennoy, you'll know as Lee Everett from the first game. Neil Newbin, Earl of Sandwich, for Earl T. Kim from Ghost of Tsushima, along with the Ghost of Tsushima himself, Daisuke Tsuji, and the Ghost of Yote, Erika Ishii, and legendary actor Lauren Tom, who you'll know from Ghost of Tsushima and also Futurama, among a million other things. Ben Levin, my dear buddy. I mean, I'm going to embarrass myself by forgetting people, but there's so many good people. Fyodor Chin, who plays Lord Saito. Can you believe that? In Ghost of Yote, is going to be in our game. Carolina Ravassa, who Fyodor Chin also plays Zenyatta in Overwatch, and Carolina Ravassa plays Sombra in Overwatch. She's in the game. Yeah, exclamation point Evolutus, and it's a hand-drawn. They've been animating this thing for years, for like 4 years. It's called Evolutus. Exclamation point Evolutus. If you want to put it on your Steam wish list, actually, that would go a long way for the developers. It's a 2D fighting game with a branching narrative. It's animated in a style very heavily influenced by things like Akira and Ghost in the Shell. So if you like anime and you like fighting games and you like branching narrative, I think you're really gonna dig it. I'm pretty sure that the plan is to release it on PlayStation, PC, and maybe Xbox. I think. I don't know. I'm confident in the PlayStation and PC thing. But yeah, they call it the polishing phase. They're doing the they're doing the thing. Did I become a machine or stay? Did I become a deviant or stay a machine? Trayson, we've played just about every possible path through Detroit, so we've done them both. Um, yeah, maybe it could be on the Switch too. Yeah, that could be cool. Um, Actually, I didn't imagine you know Roger. Oh, Roger is a real one. Roger is a really cool guy. If you ever get a chance to see Roger Clark at a convention, um, he is a gentleman. He is a real actor's actor. He loves Red Dead Redemption 2. He was a fan of Red Dead Redemption 1 before he even got cast as Arthur Morgan. He's been doing a... No, it's on PC. Evolutus will be on PC. But yeah, and actually, Roger's been streaming Red Dead Redemption 2 a bit. Nosley, thank you so much for the double gifted subs. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Mars, appreciate that. Mars is a mess. Thank you kindly. Listen, I get like a lot of like apologetic compliments when people are like, I'm sorry to interrupt, or maybe you've heard this before, but I'd like to tell you I liked your character. Like, no actor on the planet, or maybe some actors on the planet, but no actors I know are gonna mind you saying, hey, I really loved your work in something, because, when you do a play, you get to go out and take a bow. You get to have the audience respond and laugh to something that was funny, or you can hear them sigh if something, impacted them or something. And working in a video game is very different. Like, most people don't stream their playthroughs of games. So if you ever go to a convention, don't ever feel weird about it, to share how much the game meant to you, or if you really enjoyed someone's performance, because they will be grateful to hear that. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that's part of what motivates me to go to conventions, is that it's a real good a morale boost, just because an actor is recognizable to a game doesn't mean they don't have bad days and go like, what the f am I doing with my life, so we can, a little love goes a long way. I'm sure that there's some people, I don't think that me meeting, Billy D. Williams impacted his day that much, but it really felt good to me. I went to New York Comic Con and I'm backstage with fucking Lando Calrissian himself, and he like walked past, and I was like, oh man, Amelia, if he comes back into this room, I have to go say something. Like, I'm just like, there's just something like, I can't miss this opportunity to say you're awesome, in everything, not just as Lando, but especially as Lando. Rosie Claudio, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Big hug. Thank you. I appreciate you. But I walked up and I said, Mr. Williams, it is so much of an honor to be here at this convention with you, and I just wanted to say that you're such an incredible performer, and that I love your work. And like, I was like so nervous about it that like, as I was introducing myself, I was backing away. I was like, hi, nice to meet you, you're so good, I gotta go, bye. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I had that little moment. I've got to meet some really cool people at conventions, and I'm excited for London too, because I think I'll get to do that again. I mean, I met Sean Astin, who plays Samwise Gamgee, and at an MCM convention, I think at London. I got to meet John Rhys Davies, who plays Gimli in Lord of the Rings. And that was freaking cool. Now the president of SAG-AFTRA. I've got to, going to conventions has offered me some really amazing opportunities to meet people. And, so I feel like if you've always wanted to meet someone and you see them on a convention roster, don't be shy to do it. 'Cause, it really sticks with me. Like, it was a brief encounter. I talked with John Rhys Davies for like, a short time, and I asked the convention organizers, I said, I know I'm staying at the same hotel as him, and I don't want to like interrupt him over brunch before the event starts, but would you ask, would it be okay if we introduced ourselves backstage, and his manager was super cool about it and set it up. And we were talking with him for like, you know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But that's something that like I'm not going to get a different chance to do. Maybe, you know. And it's something I'll really always remember. Misa Costs, thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you, thank you. Okay, it might be a weird question, but when you're meeting fans, do you have a preference on hugs or handshakes? I'm not going, but I'm genuinely curious. I'll tell you what. I prefer to just meet people, and this is not at conventions. When I meet people in real life, but I just mean like at a regular you go to a convention. That's one thing because it's like set up to like the purpose of it is to meet. But if I'm like at an event or somebody's party or something and someone wants to introduce themselves and it's just like this instinct we all do of like put your hand out to shake, like I will put my hands here and say like, oh, it's so great to meet you. And I don't mean to leave them hanging, but like I don't know what you just did with your hand, and I'm not a germaphobe, but after the pandemic and stuff, like I got to keep myself healthy and I got to keep my family healthy. And when we went to 12 different countries doing conventions and stuff. And we got sick from a couple of them, but when you meet, usually it's like, could be like 200 people in a day or something. That's 600 people in a weekend. And, the odds that 100% of 600 people are not going to be sick is 0. So if you shake hands or hug everyone at a convention, you're going to get sick. And that's why we haven't gone to conventions for the last however many years, because of the obvious pandemic and all the other kind of stuff. You're a Star Wars fan? Yeah, I'm a Star Wars fan more than I'm a fan of anything else, really. I remember we went to one Comic-Con and they were doing so many really fast meet and greet things. And like Amelia was having this like horrible shoulder spasm from getting hugged so much. And what happens is if you're attending the thing, you're so excited because now's your chance to see us. And we were all about giving people hugs, but it was like people come to you and they're coming at you with like 100% hugging power, but you just had 50 people give you 100% hugging power. And I'm telling you, like, we were like in physical distress from being hanged on, which is a weird thing to have. So I really prefer to not have physical contact. And that is nothing because I don't like people. It's just because I got to stay healthy, because if I come back and I'm sick, then I can't stream. And I just took 2 weeks off so that I could go do the convention. And if I'm sick for another week or two, then I'm off air for a month. And that's a really bad business decision. So, I will do like the elbow dab or fist bump if I have to. But like we can meet and not touch each other, I think is my favorite way to do it. Or I do, just sort of a little like, oh, it's so good to see you. So I'm declaring like my hands are my hands. And like the other thing is that like you might have a good bill of health, you might not be sick, but what if you just saw somebody and took a picture with their cosplay and shook hands with that person, and now 10 seconds later you're shaking hands with me? You know what I mean? It's just the convention thing. So I would say if you're going to the con, wash your hands a lot. If you're not feeling well, please, I know it sucks, but stay home. It really sucks to have your own party ruined. We want our own, we've had our own day ruined by wanting to go do something so bad. Here's our chance to do it. And now I'm sick and I can't go and I got to cancel. That sucks. However, what sucks more is if I went to the thing and got everybody sick. And Amelia tells a story about at New York City Comic-Con, someone came up to meet us, pulled down their mask, was coughing, and said, I was so sick but I just really wanted to meet you guys. I'll see you at the photos. Put their mask back up and left. And then the whole time during the photo thing, we were like, which one is it? Who is it that's going to get us sick? We went from New York Comic Con to my sister's wedding that weekend. That's why we were only at New York Comic Con for one weekend, or for one day of the weekend. And then the Saturday was my sister's wedding. And during the dinner and toast before even the dancing stuff, Amelia was so sick and went down so hard. And I know that it was that person at that event that was coughing and was like, I'm so sick, but I had to meet you guys. I'm like, oh, great. Thank you. And then didn't get to dance with my wife at my sister's wedding because she's laying down on a couch because she's sick, but she can't leave because it's her husband's or her sister-in-law's wedding. Right. And it's just, I don't know. And then we're at a wedding now and my grandparents are there and my sick wife is around my grandparents, and it's just all because this one person didn't want to miss another one. So don't be selfish. If you're sick, stay home. And if you want, if you do get sick, I mean, I know not everybody going to Comic-Con is here, but if you got sick and you can't come to the convention and you want to write me an email and tell me what you wanted to tell me in person, I promise that I will respond to you. Okay. So I say this a lot of times, I do read every email that we get. It's emaildechart@gmail.com. I cannot reply to every email that we get because I simply just I have to live a life as well. But if you write to me and say, I wanted to come to the Comic-Con and I couldn't because I'm sick, I promise that I will respond to your email, and I promise, I will reciprocate that respect because, I just, I gotta keep, because I got a little kid now, and if I get sick, it's one thing. My immune system can handle it in a way that my babies can't. I appreciate you too. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I like that your name is Brian. Brian's with an I are cool too. I'm Brian with a Y, but I like Brian's with an I. They're all kinds. Do you have a favorite horror game? I don't really like horror games, but I would say of scary games that we've played, I like the Resident Evil franchise the best. And of the Resident Evil games, the best, I like Resident Evil 2 Remake with Leon, Kennedy, and Claire. That's my favorite one. My baby's name is none of your business, and I don't mean to be rude, but I do mean that my baby is none of your business. If I bring it up, I'm okay to talk about my experience as a parent, but my child cannot consent to your general curiosity. And what is a momentary curiosity for you is a lifetime of loss of anonymity for them. And so we just say baby Dechart around here. So I appreciate you understanding that. That is a boundary that I didn't really think I would have to so strongly enforce when we announced that we were pregnant. I knew people would be excited for us, but I didn't know how kind of invasive the questioning would be about it, because this is a literal baby. This is an actual baby. This is a human being who has rights and deserves respect. So I have to be kind of firm on that boundary, because honestly, you know how they say parents would kill for their children? They would. And I'm not going to kill anybody for asking what my baby's name is, but if you push me, I will kill you for my child. That's a fact. Yeah, Jacksepticeye Sean's an awesome human being. I'm really grateful to have to met up with Sean, and we stay in touch off and on. Life crisscrosses and stuff. I do think a lot of people are just genuinely curious about stuff. Yeah, I have a very special set of skills. Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple of moments over the last year where people have been invasive about streaming that I've considered nuking this whole thing. I have been moments away from going, you know what, I could just stop. Like I won't kill any of you for being too weird about my kid, but if it gets weird about my kid, I will just stop streaming. I will just be done. You will hear my voice in video games, and you might get a like on social media, but I will turn this whole thing off. And it's amazing because a year ago, or a year and a half ago, I had no concept of that kind of feeling. Like I would speak up for my wife. I would say something if I saw something in real life happening right in front of me that I thought needed to be interrupted or whatever. I'm not a super outspoken person, but I am acutely aware that I only have control over me. I do not even have control over my baby. Parents do not control their children. You are responsible for your child. You have to set boundaries for your child. You have to do things to protect your child. But I don't have control over anyone. I don't have control over my wife. I don't have control over any of you. The only thing I can control is me. So if it came to the point where I felt like I needed to have more control over the situation, what I would do is I would just stop. I would go to the gardening life that calls to me, honestly. And yeah, family's more important than anything. And there's a lot of you who I really appreciate speak up for that. Like I don't think it goes unnoticed when I see some weird stuff, and then the rest of you, like white blood cells, gather around and like take the disease and push it out of the body. I see it. I recognize it happening. So thank you for those of you who are my legionnaires with shield wall. Your pikes over the thing, and you're ready to, like, I know. I don't call you the Connor Army for nothing. I know you. We ride at dawn. The real ones know. But for sure. That's nice. Zinc is good. Zinc and echinacea, I think, are really good for if you're starting to feel sick. I just love a cup of tea. There's this elderberry immune supplement tea that I really dig. And for me, that's like, Am I playing Yote today? We completed the main story of Yote on Sunday. If you want to watch the VOD, it is up on our Twitch and our YouTube. I will go back and continue all the side quests. I want to go bounty hunting. I mean, there's a lot more of that game to play, and apparently a lot of charms. If you're playing Ghost of Yote, do not skip out on the charms. You go find those fox dens, you get your charms upgraded. Don't go fight Saito with no charms, because it will take you a long time. Tannen Bum, thank you for the cheers. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, that's so cool. You got a sign and a shake of the head from you. Well, hey, you're welcome to come say what's up. I mean, you get the rainy ASMR. You put my earbuds back in. Have I ever been to Belarus? No, I have not. But I've heard there's a lot of beautiful country in Belarus. Do you all want to do a check-in? Where's everybody tuning in from? Let's get exclamation point chat. Oh, good God. That's dead. It's Antarctica. Check it. Got the fast turtle type. Check in Antarctica and look what happened. I don't know what's going on there. Let me see if I can reload this. But it's a maybe the website's down. Nah, the website's down. But you can still check in. I'll shout you out. Where are you from? We got Sweden, Italy, England, New York City, France, Maryland, Texas. We got the UK, Illinois, Czech Republic, Switzerland, Idaho, Latvia, New Zealand, Oklahoma, Bulgaria, hello, Indiana, Seattle and France, Massachusetts and Gibraltar and Germany, and Frankfurt and Delaware and Poland representing. We got my German friends, hello. Thank you for being here. Dankeschön. Spain, hello. Gracias, thank you for being here. And Saskatchewan. Montana. Hello, Montana. How do you do? You know, I got my uncle lives in Montana, my aunt and uncle, and my cousins live in Montana, and Montana is beautiful. Wow. I mean, of all the places I've been, Montana and Northwest Wyoming around Yellowstone, that's got to be the most beautiful country I've ever been in. France, hello, and your streams help me understand English better. Great, thank you. You help me understand French better, no doubt. Vampire Wolfie, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Big hug, Vampire Wolfie. Thank you for your support. If you got one of those 5 gifted subs, please be sure to shout out Vampire Wolfie and show some love. And also, we have a starter kit. It'll show you around the the Rocky Mountains. Well, I mean, the Rocky Mountains in Canada. From my uncle's place in Montana, you can see 3 different mountain ranges. You can see mountains up in Canada, mountains all down the Rocky Mountains through the center of the West, the American West. Ooh, summers in Spain on the beach. That feels good right now. It's like cold and blustery, so like, I mean, I'm liking the cold, rainy vibes. I mean, I'm wearing a robe, but yeah. I've never been to Sydney. I would love. Australia is somewhere I have dreamed of going since I was a little kid. I did my high school reports on Australia and marsupials of all kinds. I mean, if you live in Sydney, you know about monotremes. I don't even have to explain it to you because, you know, everybody in Sydney knows about monotremes. I have been to the Philippines. I've been to Manila. In fact, I went and I had blue lemonade that looked like therium when I was in the Philippines. And in fact, some deep family lore. Amelia's family, Amelia's grandparents lived in Manila. I have been to Universal Studios. Yes, I liked it. Let's see. Curacao. Here, I'll look it up. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what it was called. I just know that it was. People, when I asked when I was in, we went to Intramuros in Manila, which is an old Spanish fort. Is this it? Yeah, I mean, it looked like that, but I don't know if it was that. It wasn't a cocktail, it was just lemonade. It was just blue lemonade. It came out of a big jug, and I drank it out of a little, like, you know, disposable cup. Intramuro. Here it is. Oh, here, I'll put it on the other computer. So this is if you like The Last of Us aesthetic, you will like this. Here, let me pull this up real quick. We did actually we posted, I think we did a Go Deviant Manila or Go Deviant Thailand. Go Deviant. So when we first got married, Amelia and I Go Deviant Thailand, and it was on our way back from Thailand that we did. So we did this kind of like travel vlog series thing called Go Deviant when we first started streaming. Go Deviant Thailand, or did we do one in Manila? I just don't know if I posted the... Yeah, Go Deviant Manila. Here we go. There's an hour of our trip to the Philippines on YouTube if you want to watch it. Hold on a sec. This is a trip down memory lane. I'm gonna mute it so that I don't ruin your day here. Doop. Look at us, little baby Brian and Amelia. So we used to do these travel vlog things where we would share our experience. But here, this is Intramuros, which is spelled Intramuros. There's a Spanish fort in the Philippines, but like the whole thing is very, it's a fortress. Yeah, it's a Spanish fort. And it was really cool to explore. Like, oops. You know, it's all, this is a big cannon. But the whole thing was like grown over with like lush moss and stuff. It just looked like such a, it looked like a scene out of a video game. It was like Uncharted 4 or something. You know, it's just wild to see this like giant brick and cement structure like in like a jungle environment. Yeah, it was beautiful. Sitting on the porch in the rain, watching the time go by. How's the game development going? It is going well, but I'll tell you what, it is a slow and steady process to develop a game. I would say everything kind of paused for about a year and a half. The second half of pregnancy and having a newborn, you know, we've only really got it back up and running in the last couple of months. Which cities in France did you visit? When I worked on Detroit, I went to Paris a bunch of times. There was like maybe I think we went to well, we traveled through Lyon to Avignon, and then we actually stayed after we just got engaged in Oped, which is a little town in the south of France. But yeah, I would love to explore more of the south of France. Have you ever seen the Eiffel Tower? Yeah, Amelia and I walked up the Eiffel Tower. We took the stairs to as far up as you could go in the Eiffel Tower, and it was a lot of stairs. And I think Amelia thought I was gonna propose there, but I didn't, because it felt a little basic bitch. And then I think she was maybe disappointed I didn't propose, but was glad if I was gonna propose that I didn't propose at the Eiffel Tower. But I did propose later that week at the Palace of Versailles. Which, if you've never been to the Palace of Versailles, that's a whole head trip. That was really beautiful. My dad joked, he's like, "You're gonna have a hard time living up to that one." Like, how you gonna top King Louis, the Sun King's palace? But Versailles, we got engaged in the gardens in Versailles. I love gardens, for sure. Yeah. And it was somewhere that Amelia had gone as a kid and always wanted to go back to, and so, and it was actually right after, I didn't know that Amelia, when we left on that trip, I knew it was going to be my last time recording for Detroit Become Human, for the performance capture anyway. And so I wanted to propose on that trip because she came with me on that trip. And then during that trip, there was an issue with the scheduling for the actor to play Tracy, and they needed to record those scenes then, but they didn't have Tracy, and so they were trying to figure out if they were going to have me come back on another trip to do all of the eating club stuff with the blue-haired Tracy. And I said, actually, Amelia has been running all these lines with me to get me off book to do these scenes. I bet she could do it. And they said, well, we'll audition her. And they were very polite about it. They said, you know, if you do this audition and it doesn't work out, like, we still love you. You're a friend of our studio, but, you know, no promises. You know, it was not like a given. But I was there with her. We got to do the audition together on the soundstage. And she crushed it. I mean, she did an amazing job with the scenes. She did the monologues, the monologues, the shoot and don't shoot monologues, and I remember the shooting director Benjamin, the writer Adam, and David were all there, and yeah, they were really impressed with her, and they offered her the part, and the rest is history. So sometimes scheduling conflicts work out in your favor, I guess. You know, things are good. Amelia sends her regards. It's a sleepy day around here. Low-key Valkyrie, thank you for the gift sub to Carrie Berry Tired. Appreciate you. Amelia's an incredible actor. I tell you what, I didn't marry the second best actress I could find. You know, like when I first started dating Amelia, I was so amazed. We were on set together for a little indie film, and we got cast as boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's called Commencement if you want to watch it. If you're looking for a very family appropriate movie about 3 generations, it takes place around graduating from college. And Amelia plays the lead character, and I play her boyfriend at the start of the film. And it was a little part for me, but I remember being so like impressed by Amelia on set. And then afterwards, I was talking to her and realized like she had all of these really cool credits, and she had recorded some things that then aired right after we started dating, and so like I could see her on TV shows, and she did like Amelia's done a guest star on like every TV network at least once, and yeah, Amelia's a great actor. If you're looking for a great actor, I would recommend Amelia before anybody else. That's a fact. Yeah. But you all know that. You all know that. Ooh. Do we have any pets? Yeah, we do. We have a cat named Theo. And we used to bring him to the studio more, but it got really tricky with, you know, parent responsibilities and putting a cat in a bag and taking him to a different place. But yeah, I could probably bring Theo on a stream again sometime. Maybe when it's just me. But it's a little tricky to have a cat on the stream. But yeah, I mean he's still got a cat box in here. I mean, there's nothing in it right now, but we can make this place appropriate for him. How often do we stream now? So right now we're streaming for about 4 days a week. But it's me on Tuesdays, because Tuesdays is a day that we've been streaming since 10 a.m. for a long time. But Tuesday at 10 a.m. is just a really hard time for us to find babysitter help. And so we have to kind of divide and conquer, and I'm the Tuesday guy. And then on Wednesdays, it's kind of a half and half thing, you know. Sometimes we can stream together, sometimes it's just me. And then on the weekends, it's easier for us to get a babysitter. So that's when we're able to stream together. But I do think that going forward, we're going to need to kind of beef up our other stuff, our other stream days, because Saturday and Sunday is good for streaming. People are available to watch streams on those days, but it's not going to be conducive to life. Like once our kid has you know, like soccer or something, it's gonna get hard. You know, so we're gonna evolve as we go, but we need to start figuring out like a weekday schedule that works for us, that's not you know, it's a balancing act. And I recognize, especially for a lot of you who are like our main core crew, who are like here for so many streams, and a lot of you who have been around for a long time, like I'm sure it's a big difference to not have. Oh, thank you for your. That's nice of you. For the vibe is it's a lot of fun to have Amelia here. I want to stream with Amelia. I mean, I want to do that every day. If I had that, I don't know, what was it, Click, the movie Click, where you could like pause and rewind real life. if I could pause life and do a stream with Amelia and then hit play again, I would do that every single time. But I can't, and that's, I really thought it was going to be easier when we were pregnant, or when Amelia was pregnant, and our baby was coming along. People were like, how are you gonna stream with the baby? And I was like, oh, we'll just stream when the baby's asleep. Like, I thought that babies slept like a lot, and like if you put a baby to sleep, it would be like a sleeping baby, and then you could like do a stream while it slept. While they slept, I shouldn't say it, but while the baby slept. Babies don't sleep like that. Babies might be asleep. Babies are asleep in the day. But when that's going to happen, how that's going to happen, for how long that's going to happen, is not a given. And so it's really hard to like post online, like going live in 1 hour, because you're like, the baby will be asleep in 1 hour. Baby does not follow that schedule, and there's no way to communicate. You can't be like, yo, baby, I'm trying to pay for our rent. I need you to go to sleep so mommy and daddy can go do this thing. Baby's like, money's an illusion. No. And I'm like, you're a baby. How could the baby have any concept of that? So it's made me be a lot more flexible as a person. Like before this new life chapter, you know, the same sort of thing that makes me itchy about like not finishing something I started. I'm also kind of irritable about changing the schedule last minute. Like because if you have a job where your boss says you're going to work from Monday to Thursday from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock or whatever, then you have that kind of structure, and then you have your life on the outside of it. And so, like, if you need to move a different thing that's going around of your life, it's not that stressful because your life still has some shape. My life has no shape unless I give it shape. I have no boss, usually. I have no job, usually. I am pretty much freelance all the time, every time. And my life is like ditto. Yeah, I'm whatever you want it to be, Lieutenant. But because of that, I have to set my own schedule, which means if that changes, I have to change a bunch of other things to make it so that I even have, like, a schedule at all, or, like, keep things moving or having progress. And so if I just, like, as a person, really like locking on to a commitment. And that is hard as a parent, especially right now. There will be a time when baby is at, like, you know, preschool or something, but that's years down the line, you know, like that's, you know, for the next couple of years, it's just going to be get a babysitter, do a stream. And I'm so grateful for our friends who can help us with babysitting and stuff like that. Amelia and I met on a film called Commencement. It's available on streaming on lots of different platforms. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but you could probably find it on Amazon. You know, like the Amazon rental for like $2 or something, I bet. It's a cute film. I like it. But yeah, we were cast together. Do I think Connor would be a good babysitter? I guess if you were programmed to be. In the very beginning, when I was seeing about... yeah, sure, Emery. I'll come back to that in just a second. Talking about the Actors Union. There was somebody who did like an AU fan art thing of Kara as the detective and Connor as the caretaker android. Like, they flipped those two. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool. And I'm not. I mean, it's been almost 8 years now at this point. I thought because we're in a video game world that there was gonna be like an ending where Kara was like Rambo and she's like, "Not today, motherfuckers," and like I wanted Kara to like go Rambo by the end of the game. Like I was waiting for her to like Matrix hive mind, you know, I learned kung fu and just like start kicking ass and like killing humans. But that didn't happen. And if you don't play dead, you die. And with Buff Alice is doing the Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible. Imagine Buff Alice like cocking the arms and I don't know. That's my headcanon. They eat Rose's spaghetti and then they just like Hulk mode, you know? Just like muscles ripping out of her shirt. Aaron Gray, welcome back for 43 months. You too don't follow a sleeping schedule. Midday naps go a long way for me. I might have to take a midday nap today. I think, you know, they say sleep when the baby sleeps, and that's kind of hard to do when you're also trying to do all your other stuff. But, yeah, a good nap goes a long way. I'm definitely going to need a nap. But I'm also working on putting together, like, our... like our... Wrong mouse. Like our travel itinerary. So I want to make sure it's good. Simon or North, asks Tommy. I don't know. I think the whole point of a branching narrative, build your own story game is that you get to pick. So I really don't like to take sides because then the internet gets weird about it. And they're like, no, that's the wrong answer. Brian, who plays Connor, said the other answer, and then they like get shitty with each other. So I kind of just am like, I don't know, whatever you want. But I do think North is North gets unnecessary hate because North is aggressive. But if you really pay attention to North's storyline, North has every right to be aggressive and hate humans. So I think that, you know, during my playthroughs, because I'm more of a pacifist person, I'm like, listen to Simon, listen to Josh. Like, well, Josh is a little more, but I'm like, you know, you don't have to do this. But like, North is kind of that, I guess, what I was just describing with what I wanted out of Kara. You know, like being like, oh, hey, human, I'm an android. Like, you can't kill me. I'm not alive. You know. So I don't know. I like North more than I used to. The more times I've played the game, the more I like North. But, you know. I worked with Minka Kelly for one day. I never worked with, what's his name? I just wanted to call him Grey's Anatomy. What's his name? Jesse Williams. I met Jesse at San Diego Comic-Con. But actually, all of the scenes with Connor talking to Marcus, I filmed with Minka, because there's a case where it could be North instead of Marcus, and then they just use the reverse coverage. So I did all of my scenes with Minka Kelly's North instead of Marcus. I don't know if that's interesting or not. Somebody asked me, I want to double check if I can still see the name in chat. I can't find any details on the website of the con and I'm struggling. What's a book? Dice. You can go to MCM Comic Con. You can... you don't have to... I don't think you have to... Do you have to reserve a thing for the panel? I think all of the panels are free, included with your admission to the thing. It was Emery Gray. Emery Gray said, can you talk about the Actors Union a little bit? The Actors Union in the States, but it has jurisdiction throughout the world, is called SAG-AFTRA. And SAG, S-A-G, is the Screen Actors Guild. And so way back in the day, before we met. Probably, I think it was in 2011. SAG and AFTRA, the Actors Film, Television, and Radio Association, which, different than SAG, represented people also in radio and news broadcasters and stuff. Those two unions voted to merge. And unfortunately for SAG, AFTRA had worse contracts. So it's a little bit like in the merger they had to find common ground, but before that, in 2010 and before, they were totally separate entities, and so you could sometimes book a TV show that was a SAG show, or you could book a show that was an AFTRA show. And the SAG contracts had really good protections. They had really, better rates and much better agreements for residuals. AFTRA, because they were predominantly focused on broadcast and broadcast news and radio and stuff, it was just not as much of a contract. So what was happening is that more and more TV shows were doing AFTRA contracts because they didn't have to pay us as well. They didn't have to protect our working conditions in the same way. It was like easier for the producers to do that. And so you would book TV shows, and sometimes people would be SAG, sometimes people would be AFTRA, and it got to such a point where it was kind of like a division of labor, where you had people who were in SAG but not in AFTRA, some people who were in AFTRA but not in SAG, and so the unions decided to merge. So in the time since I've been a SAG-AFTRA member, because when I joined, it was the very beginning of SAG-AFTRA coming together, there was, you pay union memberships to join, but if you were a member of AFTRA or you were a member of SAG, you became a member of SAG-AFTRA. So the union is a collective bargaining body which says if you treat these actors this way, you have to treat us all that way. Favored nations is a contract term that comes up a lot of time, most favored nations, which is basically the Workers United will never be defeated. That if you say this guy can only work, you work 8 hours and then you go into overtime, then by the time you get to 12 hours, you get to double time, but nobody can work over 16 hours. And if you finish working at a certain time, then there has to be at least a 12-hour turnaround, that they can't say like, oh, you just worked for 15 hours, go home and sleep for 2 hours and come back the next morning. It's the same thing like why you wouldn't want your pilot to like fly around the world, take a nap, and then fly around the world again, right? Like people have to have downtime in order to do their job safely. And so like these kind of like workers' conditions and rights are protected by the union. And I will be honest that a lot of video games are non-union. And so when I was working on, don't need a calculator. When I was working on Detroit Become Human, the game started with a contract that was before, so that we're able to be in production. But when I first started as Detroit, we were picketing the strike. Me and Clancy Brown were on the picket line in 2014 while we were working on this, or I don't know if Clancy had started working on the game yet, but I had started production on Detroit, and we were striking for better working conditions and wages, and most of those things have to do with safety, like on-set fight coordinators, because video game developers like movies and they like explosions, but they don't usually know a lot about good, safe fight choreography. So you show up on set and they're like, okay, so now you jump from this platform to that platform, and like we put a mat down, and you're like, this doesn't seem safe, but I need a job, so I'll go for it. And people were getting hurt. And because of this, you need to have someone whose dedicated job is to be a coordinator for the fight so that it happens safely. I see my stream's getting a little choppy. I'm gonna... The same thing exists with intimacy coordinators now. This is something that was fought for and won in SAG negotiation contracts, which is that if you're on set and you have any kind of nudity or any kind of intimacy or any kind of simulated romance, let's call it, that you have someone whose dedicated job it is to make sure that that's done in a professional way, that everybody sticks to the choreography, that it's not like in the 80s where it was like, oh, I'm doing the scene where I make out, so I'm just gonna like grab you and make out with you on camera, right? And a lot of people were being put in an uncomfortable and unsafe position. So the union protects those things. It also gives accountability and makes the game developers or the publishers accountable that what they say they're going to do is what they actually do. And a lot of times, and I'm telling you a lot of times, games go, oh, we don't have any money. We couldn't possibly pay you that much. They have tons of money, but they don't want to spend it because that's how it is running a business. They want to keep their costs down and make as much money for as little money as humanly possible. Creative accounting, exactly. So when you do a project with SAG, you have to show them your budget. You have to show them the production. So you can't say, I'm making a game and it costs $500,000, but then it also would be like, a $10 million game, but they're pretending like they only have 500,000, if that makes sense. So SAG establishes a contract that has different scales, right? So that the developer of a game or a TV show says, this is our company, we are a legally registered thing. Every time I record something, they don't like hand you cash, they pay you later. But it would be really easy for someone to be like, hey, come here a second, would you talk into this microphone, say all of this stuff, and then ghost you and just never pay you. So the union is a collective body that has its own lawyers, its own legal ability, and a lot more money than any individual actor does at a point. So if some company tries to mess with you, they can go after them and take legal recourse to make sure that you get paid that money. And you think, oh, that would never happen. It happens. Because a lot of times people who are developing games think they're going to be able to do something, and then it never actually happens, or the funding doesn't come through, or they think it's going to be one thing that it doesn't turn into, and effectively it keeps people honest. And a lot of video games, I would say more than half of video games, are non-union, which means that the actors are working for lower wages. They don't have protections in the same way that the SAG actors do. One of the protections is disclosure, that you know what the role you're playing includes. There was an experience that someone had where they played a character in a video game. They were a union member, so it was a union project, but this is before the disclosure clause was part of the agreement in the strike. And then they were watching their kid play the game, and it turned out that their character was like a stripper that you abuse or throw out of a car or whatever. And they didn't know that they were playing a character with this kind of content. So they have to tell you in advance if it's going to be violent, if it's going to be of sexual nature, if it's going to, right? And they're just like, here, say this stuff. But they didn't, most of the time, even including Detroit Become Human, I did not have the full script. I only had my lines and my scene, right? So if you don't know how they're going to use your voice, you can't defend yourself, or you can't negotiate for yourself and say, I don't want to do this job because it doesn't sound like it lines up with my personal values, and that's not the kind of thing that I want to make. So the same thing happens when it comes to AI. And so the big strike that just went on for the last 10 months, which, by the way, it was really hard to have a baby and then have your union go on strike and not be able to work for 10 months. Like, that was really freaking stressful. And I'm really glad the strike is resolved and we're back to it. But it has to do with AI protections. The rules in the SAG-AFTRA contract do not forbid game developers from using AI. But they do forbid you from using AI without telling me that you're going to use AI. So the voice of Siri or the voice of your Garmin Street Pilot GPS or Alexa. Those are union jobs. But when they did them, they said, you're going to be the voice of the Apple iPhone. We're going to take all of your audio, we're going to cut it up, and it's going to say, turn right on Lamadia Street. Turn right on, Sycamore Grove. But they knew that they were going to do that. So then when they said, all right, well, even though I'm going to go record for X number of hours, you're going to get 10x or 1,000x number of hours worth of content out of me, so you're going to pay me more. And so a lot of these game developers, and I've heard stories of, this is fucked up, but I've heard stories of game developers taking auditions, taking Zoom meetings, taking audio from other sources, and feeding it into AI without disclosing it to the performers, and then using it in the game. They're literally stealing art, and you guys see it when it comes to generative AI with artwork, right? Here, AI, scrub all of Google Images for every picture of a druid, and then print me 1,000 new pictures of a druid. They're just stealing, but it's the same thing. But so when it comes to your artistry in visual form or music form, for instance, it is your style, it is the way you make art that's going into going into this generative AI. It's like turning it into like an art sausage, right? Instead of what it was originally. But in the case that it's an actor, it's your likeness, which is your face, which is the thing. If you're like, oh, Tom Cruise is in this movie, it now moves it to the level of a Tom Cruise movie. But if you just started putting Tom Cruise's face in other shit without Tom Cruise's permission, right? That's theft. The same thing's true of your voice. If you take my voice and put it into an AI generator and make it say other things, and there's really, besides me strongly being against that and hoping that people are moral enough to not, it's something that really directly endangers someone's livelihood. Because if my voice now becomes that stupid AI voice that we all hear, and she says, it's great. Have you ever seen a rainy day? I love that their day is so rainy. You know that voice, right? That fucking AI voice that's on like every generated deal. Whoever that woman's voice is, whenever she's talking in a regular conversation, people are like, oh God, it's the... So that's just not fair. So if someone's going to use AI, it has to be disclosed, because if you're going to be the voice of Siri, you need to compensate for the fact that now you can't go book work that's not Siri without people being like, you're the voice of Siri, right? So I will throw this out there, that there are actors who eventually go what's called FICOR. And that means that they were union members, but then they go to be FICOR, which means FICOR is Financial Corp is an independent existence. There is a law that protects performers and workers in general, that if I once did a job for the auto union, right? Let's say I was an auto worker. I worked on a plant in Detroit. I built cars, and I had a good paying job. I got paid a union salary, but then I got laid off or fired, or I quit from my job, but I wanted to go and be a mechanic and not do that work anymore. I could go FICOR, which would allow me to do some work for the union, but I could also be legally allowed to work as an independent contractor, which means that it's not, there's no law that says once you're in a union, you can't leave the union. However, because of this FICOR thing, it erodes the integrity of the union and kills that collective bargaining. Because if you have a whole bunch of people together saying, hold the line, we won't work for less than these conditions. We want consent. We want informed consent. We want at least a basic living wage. And I'm telling you guys, the SAG-AFTRA rate to work on a video game is not that much money, especially when you consider how efficient it is. I worked on Detroit Become Human for 21 days. I filmed performance capture over 4 years for 21 days. The money that I made from Detroit helped me to barely survive for those 4 years. But once the game came out, that was all long gone. There was no There was no way to, it's not like, oh, you're in a big video game, here's $1 million. Like, no, absolutely not. You're paid like a day rate to go and do your thing. And now they have it for forever. For forever. They can re-release Detroit Become Human on PC, on Switch 2, on PlayStation 9. I'm never getting paid another dime again. The question about do actors in video games get residuals? No, we do not get residuals. And that's part of the accountability thing that's so messed up. So if you're in a film and TV show, right? The new agreement says you do what? If they do a re-release, I gotta look into that. It depends on the contract. I'm gonna look that up, man, because I don't know. I think that yeah, based off the number of units sold, yeah, but dude, it's like nothing. It's like if they sell 1 million copies of the game, you get another $200. It's not residuals. That is not residuals. And it's decidedly not residuals because the game developers did not want the other people that work in games to get residuals. They're like, if we give actors residuals, then we're going to have to give other people residuals, which would mean we can't keep all the money in our big fat pile, right? So residuals means, and if you worked on a SAG contract, like my first job was on Law and Order SVU. No, it was SVU. Was it SVU? Yeah, I think it was Law and Order SVU. I was like the little segment right before dun dun, and they show the Law and Order thing. It's like the little pre-credit beat about what's going on in the storyline. And so, yes, there are like 2 or 3. You're right. There are a couple game companies. I didn't discover the body. I made the body. I bullied someone into becoming the body for the start of the game. I got paid to do that as a day rate, and then when it aired for the very first time, that I did not get paid for, right? So you got paid to do the on-set work, and then they get the first exhibition for free. We helped you make a thing, you aired it, that's the thing. The second time that it got aired again, you got paid a percentage of what you got paid the first time. The third time, a smaller percentage. The fourth time, a smaller percentage. The fifth time, a smaller percentage. And eventually it gets down to like, I'm telling you, I make, my residual checks are like pennies at this point. But it's been a long time, and those add up over time, and it's part of how actors can sustain themselves and how we can keep a working class of actors who are not Tom Cruises, but like the rest of us, who just like do an episode, and do an episode. So if a show goes to syndication, that means it's going to run more, which is what Earl's mentioning, which is like a show like Friends, right? Where it was on one network and now it's been syndicated to other networks. And so they broadcast. Haley Joe, thank you so much for being here and for gifting 5 subs to the people of the town. Thank you. Big ups and much appreciated. If you got a gift sub from Haley Joe, please be sure to say thank you. But when it comes to, I guess what I'm getting at is when it comes to the union, without a union and the more people that go FICOR, or the more people who are union and do non-union jobs, that tells game developers, let's just wait them out. Let's starve them out. Let's pull the Trade Federation, lock in an imperial blockade, make them so broke and so tired that they can't help but take this shitty contract. And so that's what happens when people who are in the union do non-union work. And they're allowed to because everybody's got to survive, right? Like, you got to pay your rent. I get it. But what happens is it's a race to the bottom. And if everybody starts going, oh, no, I'll do it for half of that, then someone else is going to go, oh, I'll do it for a third of that. Someone else comes in and goes, I'll do it for 25% of that. And before you know it, everybody that's working is doing it for the worst possible wages. And what's wild about voiceover and performance for video games is that you can record so much material so fast. And Earl of Sandwich is like the 3rd biggest character in by number of lines. Earl, we recorded what, 2 sessions, right? That was you had a lot to say, and we recorded you in 2 sessions. And if that game makes $1 billion, if Evolutus Duality makes $1 billion, I think they owe you like another $300. Right? And so the question when it comes, sorry to get me really just go on about it, but I just it's really important to me that especially people who I was having a conversation with an actor friend recently who just did not know. Yeah, and we'll take it. We'll be like, thank you, please, sir, can I have some more? You know. But I was talking with an actor about, you know, before they you know, had lived in LA for a long time and didn't know anything about the union. A lot of people are excited to get a job at all because there's a scarcity mentality of like, oh man, I just moved to this new city. Like, what if I fail as an actor and I gotta, you know, go back home, right? And that's like the big fear. So people are like willing to take and do anything. But if everybody's willing to take and do everything, then nobody has protections or rights looking out for them. And a lot of, I'm going to say this, the best studios make the best games that we all love, and the ones we love on this channel are story games where the performance really matters. And Santa Monica Studios, Naughty Dog Studios, Insomniac, Quantic Dream, they're all doing these games with SAG actors because they want to have Keanu Reeves in their game. CD Projekt Red is not going to get away with doing a non-union game if they want to have Idris Elba involved, right? So the way I view it is, it is so easy for a game to become union. All they have to do is send paperwork to SAG saying, this is the name of our company, this is who we are, we will really pay people, and when the game comes out, we'll tell you how it performed, right? That's it. And there are game developers that Amelia and I have had conversations with game developers. One in particular of a game which was released in this last year, that we were talking for a long time about working on this project. We said from the beginning, yeah, all you got to do is the SAG paperwork to do it with the union, and we're on board. We had like 4 or 5 different Zoom meetings about this character, about this project, about us streaming it after the game came out. Like, we were talking about all this stuff. And then close to when it came time to record, they were like, oh, actually, we can't do the union thing. Could you guys go FICOR? And we're like, fucking no. From the first meeting, we said that we're union actors, and if you want us to be in your game, we're going to do it on the union contract. We'll even do the paperwork. But they didn't want to send because they were telling us, oh, it's just some little game. We only have like a little bit of money. But that was not true. They only wanted, it's the same thing like when someone's negotiating and they're like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly afford to pay you that. Like, my pockets are empty. Could you do it for less? Right? It's just greed. It's literal just greed. And because of that, we said we're not doing it. The same day that game that we had been talking to for months, both Amelia and I working on, were like, oh, sorry, we actually can't do it, union. Fell down. Evolutus Duality, that we had been talking to years later and hadn't heard anything from, sent an email, came up out of the woodwork, and said, hey, Brian and Amelia, we're ready to go. We want to bring you on as casting directors. Let's get this thing going. And we did it with SAG. Did you hear that cast list that I just listed to you? Some of the best actors, the best performances in video games in the last 10 years are in this game. And Evolutus's budget is a small percentage of this other project. Right? And so I cannot wait for Evolutus to come out and teabag all these stupid fucking games that are like, no, we couldn't possibly go. We couldn't possibly do it union. I'll be like, well, guess what? You lose. Sorry for the, offensive gamer reference. But it's just silly to me. It's just silly to me. And so, the proof will be in the pudding when Evolutus comes out and people go, wow, this is a cool game, this is a good idea, and the performances are aces. You better believe your boy is going to be going off about all of the awesome SAG performers that are in it. The tea is immaculate. So it's just like it's a personal pet issue of mine because a lot of my friends who are actors are in the same problem that I'm in, which is how do I survive in between jobs if these jobs only pay enough to barely survive? And every actor I know has to audition for like 100 things to book one thing. And that's why residuals exist, is so that if you make something that you sell and you sell and you sell and you sell forever, you should pay the people that helped you make it. But if you don't have that kind of accountability and you don't have to report back your earnings, some of that clever accounting, right? You don't share the fruits of the labor, then you're taking advantage of people's creativity. And worse, you're taking advantage of the fact that they're being systematically oppressed to not have work. So, I don't know. That's why, to me, when we started doing like the sticker prize thing, we have community members who we have commissioned to do the art for our stickers and stuff. My goal has been that each time we can hire artists to be able to pay them a little bit more. Sometimes there have been times when we've done the sticker run thing where we pay the artist, we pay to print the stickers, we pay for the shipping and the postage and all of the other bits and pieces, and it's sort of a break even. Like, it's a good thing to do to encourage people to check out a new artist. It's a good way for us to say thank you and send stuff out to people to like make it like a thank you for joining us live on stream. But like it's part of my definition of success as an artist. And I had a question in I took a preparing for the profession class where we had to write an essay that was like future casting or imagining what would it be like to be a successful actor. And you had to like, because everybody, you have to make your own definition. Like, some people are like, I just want to like, you know, get people hyped. I want people to be like excited about my work. Other people are like, I really want to do something that like makes progress for social issues. And some people want to like, you know, do these different things that really matter to them. And so my definition, I remember writing in this essay, was that like my definition of success as an artist is that I will make money from making art so that I can hire artists. And if that's the case, you know, like I can hire my friend Logan to make music for our streams or the sound effects and stuff for our streams. So I don't know. I think that kind of like support, artists have always been the most supportive people of artists because you get it. You know what the struggle is like, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I usually don't talk about this kind of stuff on stream because honestly, it's kind of frustrating and tiresome, and I don't want it to get like clipped and taken out of context. You know, but that's why sometimes I have spoken up on social media before about the union thing, and you know, I was offered the part in the lead role in a big game with a lot of money, and they wanted me to go FICOR, do the game non-union, and they were gonna pay me $4,000 to do the entire game non-union. And if you're listening right now and you just heard $4,000, and you're like, oh my God, $4,000, that's because you're in a place in life where I thought I also had time in my life where I was like, are you kidding me? $4,000? That would be like For the first 10 years of my life after graduating, I filed my taxes below the poverty line. I didn't make more than 16 grand a year for the first decade of doing this, okay? That is a very, very small amount of money to live in Los Angeles, California. The average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment around where we live is like $2,800 a month. So 4K would get you a month and a half of being alive to be the lead role in a video game published by a massive company. And they're like, so I said no. I said I won't do it. But it's really hard as an actor. I called, after I got that phone call, I called a bunch of people. I called a lot of the actors that you might recognize from some other video games to be like, I don't know what to do. I said, I need the money, man. I gotta pay my rent. I want to work again. I want to have another job. But it was apparent to me that it wasn't even really about the money, but it was about that if they didn't respect the fact that I was a union actor and I had a certain level of working conditions that I required, that I would have to say no. But it's really hard to say no when you haven't worked in a while, you know? And when you're looking at it and you're like, okay, what does union mean in this context? SAG-AFTRA is the actors union. Sorry, if you're just joining, it's probably a little confusing. But people don't usually talk about this kind of stuff because they are worried that it's going to make them unemployable. But I am a big advocate of talking about things that are, things that are within my realm of influence, because I can't bring peace to the Middle East. I can't. I think it's so fucked up, team. I think it is so dark and horrible what's happening in Gaza, and like people in Israel are suffering, people in Gaza are suffering. That's fucked up. But no one is listening to me for the answer, right? So I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I can either join the tailspin of how fucked up the world is, or I can focus on the things that are within my control. And so I do feel like a lot of my energy for the I'm pro no genocide and no people killing people. That's what I'm pro. I'm pro treating other people with respect. You know? I can't. How many thousands of years of Middle Eastern knowledge do you have? You know what I mean? This is a fucking conflict that's been going on for forever. And if there was an easy solution to it, that somebody could tweet one banger tweet and fix it, it would have been done by now. So I'm pro humanity. I'm pro decency. I'm pro don't kill people unless they are literally about to kill you, and that becomes the debate: is who's going to kill who started it. It's, depending on who you ask, it's been going on for generations, and it's so upsetting to see it, and it's really hard to bite your tongue when you're mad, you know. And so when it comes to stuff like the union and actors and what do me and my peers do about the situation that we're into, that's stuff that I can actually have maybe a little bit of influence on. Maybe there's some actor right now who is like, you know, if they're thinking about what do I do with my career, maybe me, I have some authority to speak on it. But like, how am I going to fix the fact that I personally believe the government of the country that I live in is fucked up so bad, like fucked beyond repair, right? But nobody is listening to me. And what an exhausting, frustrating situation. And I'm telling you this from life experience. I spent 5 years, maybe, of the last 7 years where I was getting, like, more and more wind in my sails, right? I went from being someone none of you had ever... Do I love Trump? I think Trump should fucking die sometimes. I think he's a piece of shit human being and a bad representation of what it is to be a leader in a place called the United States of America. If you can't read the first word in the name of the country that you're supposed to be the leader of, you're doing a bad job. That's how I feel about that. But what the fuck am I gonna do about it? I could spend every day, all day, screaming about this stuff, and it would change nothing. So I have to take care of me. I gotta take care of my family. I gotta take care of the things that are within my control. And what do I think about anything that's outside of my control is almost irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? It's almost irrelevant. There's no way that I can influence the guy who works at the grocery store, let alone politicians in Washington, besides voting. So what is within my control is to encourage people to vote, encourage people to participate in democracy at the local level, vote on all the little measures on the ballot that are things that are about your community. That's what I think you have control over. And if you didn't vote, you don't get to complain. And if you want to complain, you can. But you get to complain one vote worth. And some people can dedicate their life to activism. And that is amazing. I am not that person. I'm just not. I want to tell stories. I want to start conversations. I don't want to tell people what to think, but I want to tell people what I'm thinking about. I think that's okay. I think you can open a box of discussion. But as soon as you start like really going after something, you start to alienate people that you might be able to have a conversation with. And we don't need more separatism. We need more people who are willing to have a conversation with people that they don't agree with in a basic way. And I do agree that there are people who are so far gone. I am never going to convince J.K. Rowling that she's wrong. She's never going to listen to me. So why am I going to spend my day bitching and moaning about J.K. Rowling? Why don't I focus on the things I do like? Why am I going to go boycott some game that, I'm going to boycott Hogwarts Legacy? No, I'm just going to not play it. And I'm going to play the games I want to play. So, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard for me to care about some of this stuff as much as I care about it, and to selectively bite my tongue. But I have found, and I don't know how to articulate this, because I know that there are some people in our community on Twitch. I know that there are even some people that were like very heavily involved in our community on Twitch who didn't like my lack of like being really mad about Trump getting elected again. I was pissed. I mean, I didn't really think we had great options, to be honest with you. I mean, I've never really been that excited about a candidate for presidency since, I voted and was so stoked when we got Barack Obama when I was living in New York City. I'll never forget celebrating on the subway when it was announced that Barack Obama had won. I really cared then. And I voted for Bernie Sanders when I had the chance, and that didn't go anywhere, and then we got the whole Hillary shebang and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I have political opinions. I care about these things. But I'm also aware that I live in a country of millions of people who have completely different lifestyles, completely different priorities, and we all have to fucking get along. That's why we have 50 different states. If you don't like how it is to live in this shitty state that you're in, get the fuck out of there. Come to California, it's all right. And if you hate California, get the fuck out of here. Go live somewhere else. Like, you don't have to be anywhere. But to be somewhere and to spend all of your time trying to get all of the people around you to think the way you think is narcissism. And so, like, I just, I don't know, I'm acutely aware from 5 years of being very outspoken about stuff. Because I went from a place where nobody, I did a film called The Remaining. It is not a very great film. It was my first job that was going to be in a movie theater, so I was really excited to be in a theatrically released film. The movie came out, and I was so excited about it. I was posting about it every day. I was trying to get people to go request at their local theaters to have this movie come to their theaters. I was out there doing the same shit I did for Detroit Become Human, but on The Remaining. And it didn't work on The Remaining, but it did work for Detroit Become Human, because here we are 7 years later, right? But I was there cranking this machine to get the fucking thing going, because I didn't want to die in obscurity as an actor. I wanted somebody to see something that I had made someday, right? And then when Detroit came and I started getting a little bit of traction, I got some wind in my sails. I got some more wind. It started going. Twitch went from 1,000 people to 5,000 people to 10,000 people to 100,000 people. Jacksepticeye played the game, and then it went to 200,000 people. We're at over 500,000 people on Twitch, on Instagram. I mean, there's got to be 1 million of us. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how many people care about what we're doing here. I never, in my wildest dreams, I hoped that the game would be successful and that it would get me one more job so that I could do another job. Right? I was just literally trying to swing from one rope to grab another rope. But along the way, I had some opinions. And I will tell you what, the more wind in my sails I got, the more confident I started getting to tell you my opinions. And then I got the positive feedback loop. I said, trans rights are human rights. And all these people said, fuck yes they are, because obviously, if you're a human, you deserve human rights, right? Right? But then hatred came to follow. And hatred followed what I was trying to put love into the world. I was trying to say yes to something good, something that I really believe in deep, 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 deep in my heart. That matters to me, okay? But I brought suffering onto our community and to people in our stream from hateful trolls that I engaged with, that I fought back against, and I continued a cycle of violence. I continued a cycle of anger. I fed a machine of upset. And then people in our community had angry, upset people coming at them to try to get at me because I had a point of view about this. And I have learned from my mistakes that I wasn't easing suffering. I might have made some people feel seen. I might have acknowledged my point of view publicly, which is, I think, inherently humanist. That I was making more suffering instead of easing suffering. And so what I've learned instead is that I believe what I believe. And you can believe what you believe. But if you'll be respectful of the people that I care about, you can be here. You can hang out. And about a year ago, when we had this election cycle, and last November, I got some serious upsets from some longtime community members and people that were really involved in our community that were really upset that I wasn't fucking championing or rallying against the political situation at the time. And they couldn't understand that I was doing what I believe to be the best thing to protect the people that I care about, which is me, my wife, now my child, and all of you, especially those of you who've been here for such a long time, right? And so, for me, there's just this sort of wisdom, or the word is temperance, where you have to have a certain just right amountness of something. And I think that temperance is an incredibly, incredibly valuable virtue. I think that wisdom is a virtue that I look up to the most. And the vice that is the opposite of temperance, the opposite of wisdom, is excess. It's gluttony. Okay? I believe that we live in a gluttonous world. I believe that everybody wants more. I think it's easier to be a person who succumbs to vice than it is to be a virtuous person. That's like an age-old issue, right? But I think it's gluttonous or excessive to be someone who, if you're mad about the current administration being shitty, which it is, it's shitty, it's scary shitty, it's dark times shitty. But if I find myself being so excessively obsessed, and I understand why it would be if I felt personally threatened, right? I'm coming at this from a position, I'm as middle of the road average American experience. I grew up in the Midwest. I identify with the sex and gender that I was assigned at birth. I am in a heterosexual relationship. I'm married. I feel like a middle-class middle dude. So I get that my life is a lot easier than a lot of other people's lives. And I understand the importance of being in a position of privilege and using it to help other people. But the way I believe I can help other people is by living by example and saying, come as you are welcome here, you are deserving of being treated with dignity and respect because you're my fellow human being. Because you were born into this life, onto this planet, I respect you. Don't give me a reason to disrespect you. If you start telling me all sorts of hateful bullshit, if your point of view, I'm allowed to revoke that respect. But I don't have to spend my days hunting people that don't earn my respect. I really believe people are allowed to have other values. But once their other values say that other people are not worthy of being treated with respect, then they're up and out. They gotta go. But that's a decision that I make. I can't control that. You can't get someone else to leave the internet. They're always going to be there. The hateful bad people are always going to be on the internet. But I can choose what I listen to. I can choose what I pay attention to. I can choose the amount and the way in which I get into this. That's the wisdom. The wisdom is the degree. I know that right now I'm talking to a lot of people who, I mean, if you very strongly disagree with me, you probably left. So I know that I'm speaking in a relatively safe space as far as me talking about the unions and what it's like to be an actor and working conditions and all this kind of stuff. Because I believe that these people are, by and large, wrapping their mind around what we're communicating. Yeah, it's a community and a space, and not everyone here has to agree on all things, but we all at least agree that if we don't agree on all things, we should respect the fact that we don't agree instead of making each other into the enemy. And I was amazed a year ago. I was amazed to find people that were dedicated, longtime members of our community who were so angry at the world that they wanted to be angry at me for not being more angry for them to try to fix something that's outside of my control. And that is really, really hard to articulate in a tweet. Do you know? That's why all of the arguments that you see in the comment section on stuff go nowhere. No one convinces anybody. They just say, you're stupid. No, you're more stupid. No, you're more stupider. You can't even spell stupider. I'm so stupid, you're stupid. No, we're all stupid. It's war games. The only way to win is not to play. I want to take care of my life. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my extended family in this community of our stream. And I have to make decisions on a day-to-day basis about how I behave with my own personal choices and words and behaviors, and what do I think is going to get me where I'm going. And where I'm going is, it's got to be sustainable. It's got to be something that I can keep doing. And when I was referencing in the past, when I have been more aggressively outspoken, right? When I have been more hyper-vigilant of, like, you know, not only do Black Lives Matter, obviously, what the fuck, but going around and making sure everybody else gets on board with this, that I'm picking fights in places that, like, you can't finish the fight. There's not going to be a resolution. So who's suffering? Who's losing? Me. Because the anger is in me. The upset is me. And if I am eroding my own ability to have that conversation, if I'm killing my own ability to even care, then it's not sustainable. I'm going to give up on the fight. I'm going to say, oh my God, the world's so fucking dark. Why don't I just not? So if I want to be present and participate in the conversation, I have to do it in a way that's sustainable, you know? Yeah, London Comic-Con, yeah, yes, Oscar. It's going to be MCM Comic-Con is October 24th, 5th, and 6th. And I promise not to get political at the Comic-Con. Yeah, it's not that I don't care about politics. It's that I am aware of my realm of influence. And I think that there are some people who they're like, I would imagine if you were someone who was like, you know, I'm really personally feeling attacked by this new administration. Me and my community and myself, I feel threatened. And I'm posting about this, and I'm replying about this, and I'm trying to, like, hype up this point of view of what I believe is right and just in the world. It would probably be really frustrating to have, like, you know, a couple thousand followers on social media and not be able to get any real traction about it, and to be so personally attacked by the dark things that are happening in the world that you would want to speak out against it. And then you'd go, you know what? No one's listening to me because I only have a couple thousand followers. Brian has got 500,000 followers. Brian should say something. Make Brian do it. He'll be the guy. And I'm telling you, as the guy with 500,000 followers on Twitch or Instagram or whatever the shit, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit what I think. I don't even give a shit what I think half the time, because a lot of times I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix stuff. I don't know. And I'm okay not knowing. But I used to not be. I used to think, I was right, I figured it out, you all are wrong, let me show you why. Now I know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's enough for me. I am going a little bit down the rabbit hole. And so I'm gonna walk it back out because we're gonna watch some video game trailers. Or so he said. In the same sort of a thing. Yeah, if Taylor Swift can't fix it, no one can. We didn't start the fire. No, we didn't light it, but we tried to fight it. You know, I don't know. We made a film about this, Amelia and I, called Desert Prayer. And it's a film that actually, as it was being made, it was also being written and rewritten and rewritten. But the basic moral of the story, and I'm not spoiling it for you because it's only a short film that you can watch pretty quickly. But the moral of the story is change blooms from within. If you want the world to change, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Ooh, ooh. Right? If you can't fix the person in the mirror, you can't fix anything else. And I can't fix the person in the mirror yet. I'm working on it. I'm working on me all the time. My whole life is a constant journey of self-improvement. And I don't think I'm actually ever going to get to a point. I hope I don't get to a point where I go, all right, I'm done. This is good. I'll be this guy for forever. Like, each year, I look back at the guy from before and go, well, I think I've improved. Version 2.0, version 3.0, version 4.0, version 5.0. I'm on version 38. You know? And I really hope that I don't lock off. I hope I don't get to, like, version 60 and go, nah, this is good. I'm not going to do any more learning. But people do. Because it's easy. You know, it's easier to do that. Is Ghost of Yotei worth getting? Ghost of Yotei is my game of the year. I love Ghost of Yotei. I think it honored Ghost of Tsushima, which is definitely my top 5 games of all time. And I think it improved a lot of things that I loved about Ghost of Tsushima. So I think by de facto, it puts Ghost of Yotei in my top 5 games of all time. It's really hard to come up with the top 5 list. You know? But is it worth getting? Yeah. If you like Ghost of Tsushima, especially. UA Vicky, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, and Haley Joe, again, thank you for the gifted subs. I really appreciate your support. And Bravongo, welcome back for 57 months. Neighborhood Dragon, thanks for being here with your Prime. Faye Girl, thank you so much for the stream, or for the stream cheers. And damn it, Janet, welcome back for 57 months. And Veeks, thanks for being here with your Prime. Oh, you count a series as one when it comes to top anything. I like that idea, Scree, because that's how I could deal with, like, Uncharted. Because Uncharted is definitely in my top games of all time. And if I get to put it as a series, definitely. Let me just do it off the top of my head. I gotta put Detroit there for obvious reasons. I gotta put Crash Bandicoot there, because it was, like, my first love of a video game. So then, Uncharted, the Ghost of series. How do you give the last slot? Mass Effect? Maybe? Resident Evil is good, but Resident Evil, like, I think if a new Resident Evil game comes out, or a new Resident Evil game will come out, I go, ooh, that looks cool, I gotta play it. But I don't feel like I gotta play it right now real quick before anybody else spoils it for me. I gotta do the thing. Do you know what I mean? We did do a rank, we did a tier list ranking thing. Exclamation point rank in our Twitch chat will give you the, we'll give you the list of our top 128 games. Of Zelda, yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild was my favorite. Ah, God of War. God of War might be just above Mass Effect for me. Mass Effect was a ton of fun. Okay, here's what we've listed on our Twitch channel as our tops. As Dusk Falls, very good, but not in my top 5. Astrobot, very, very good, a lot of fun, strong recommend. If anybody's like, I'm new to gaming and I want to get, I would say play Astrobot. Crash Bandicoot gets it on the legacy thing. Detroit Become Human gets it on the obvious. The Ghost series gets it on the games being fucking awesome, and the performances are so good, and the storytelling is so good, and the acting is so good. It's that. God of War is right now kind of holding on to. Hellblade, I really liked the first one. The second one was just a little tonally too dark for me. Overwatch 2 I've played the most of, but I can't say it's like my favorite game, but because I kind of hate it sometimes. Like, I love Overwatch, but then I also hate it sometimes. So it wins and then it loses right away, like me. Victory, defeat, victory, defeat, victory, defeat. Any indie games that I recommend? I really liked Gris. Red Dead Redemption 2 is up there, but it's... I don't know if it's in my top 5. It's definitely in my top 10. Quantum Break was the first video game that Amelia worked on, which I really enjoyed, and I do really like the Remedy games. I think Remedy's an awesome studio, and I would love to work with Remedy someday. But I'm not sure that's not a top 5. Resident Evil 2 Remake is my top of the Resident Evil series, so if I was doing top 10, Resident Evil gets in there for sure as a series. Stardew Valley I sunk a ton of time into, but I think if it wasn't a global pandemic, I would have not. But I mean, I would wake up early to play Stardew Valley. Isn't that crazy? During the pandemic, I would stay up late until like, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, planting trees, and then I would like wake up at like 6 in the morning and start playing Stardew Valley. Amelia would be asleep for hours while I was playing Stardew Valley. So that was a strong comfort game. Supermarket Simulator is on that list, but it's definitely not a top 10. It was just fun. It's a good streaming game. The Last of Us, I think, kind of has the same thing of Overwatch. Last of Us 1, I loved it so much. Last of Us 2, I was really impressed with it, but again, the same thing as Hellblade 2, tonally so dark that it was hard for me to... Like, I just don't think I can replay Last of Us Part 2. I just don't think I can. I don't want to shoot dogs. That's my number one complaint with Ghost of Yotei. I didn't want to shoot any dogs, and I had to. The Wolf Among Us is the best Telltale game. And a good representation of a branching narrative story game, but I don't think that's in the top 10. Oregon Trail, longtime classic. I'm going to put it up there with Dino Park Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon. Just having like that throwback energy, but it's not a top 10 game. Unpacking is on this list because Amelia loves it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is my best Assassin's Creed game that I've played, or, Control, another Remedy game, awesome. Cyberpunk 2077 is maybe a top 10. Amelia and I played that one together. That was so good. Gris is a great indie game. Journey is a great indie... Is it an indie game? It Takes Two. I really like Hazelight Studios. It Takes Two, A Way Out, Split Fiction. I think I love couch co-op stuff if I can get it. Brothers was the first one. We haven't played that, but I would like to check it out. The Mass Effect series, we say 2 and 3 are our favorites. Ratchet and Clank is another one of Amelia's tops. She was the one that played through that. Sackboy, I put right next to Astrobot, where it's like if someone's new to gaming or they're trying to get their partner who doesn't game to game with them, I say Astrobot, Sackboy, and Crash Bandicoot. Spider-Man 2, I fucking love Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite of the Marvel Spider-Man, 1, Miles Morales, and 2, because you get both of the guys and, the symbiote. Spider-Man 2 is in the top 10. Split Fiction I mentioned. Stray I mentioned. Stray I liked. It was good. I probably could do another playthrough of Stray. It wasn't that long. Zelda Breath of the Wild was dope, but it was so... It's so goated that it's like hard to say... It's hard to say. It's a little bit also like my playthrough of Stardew, where it's like I uniquely got to experience Breath of the Wild during the pandemic when I had tons of time. It was like being a kid again in a way, where like you could just play as much as you want, and like responsibilities be damned. Now I'm like, I need to get my gaming done because now I got to do laundry, Beyond Two Souls, actually, the first time I played Beyond Two Souls, I did not complete it. I started playing Beyond Two Souls before I worked on Detroit Become Human. The non-linear narrative, I felt, interrupted the satisfaction of the choice-based, like, cause and effect of the branching narrative. So I feel like, I think that's... The ending really got me strongly, and I liked it a lot. But, Oh, you like Vader? Yeah, he's doing alright. That's the old Dark Lord of the Sith there. Yeah, Horizon. I think Horizon Horizon Zero Dawn and Ratchet and Clank were big on Amelia's evolution as a gamer, because that was how she got to, she really got good. And Mass Effect. If you want to see someone go from being like kind of a gamer to a gamer, watch our our Mass Effect playthrough. You could watch some of the first Mass Effect and then watch the end of the third Mass Effect, and you will go, oh my god, Amelia grew up. Like, something clicked during Mass Effect, and she just went from being someone who liked video games and was kind of like going along with it all to someone who is like a gamer, which is really cool. Then there's Uncharted. We're going to give that as a series. Until Dawn is good, but you know, I think Until Dawn is a good example of a branching narrative game. But I don't know if, maybe, is it in my top 10? I don't know. That's a little bit of like, again, with the bullying as a theme and the tonally dark, it like moves it to like 11 out of 10. Like, it's just not quite there. T Bunny Bun, thank you for being here for 5 months. Haven't played a Hat in Time. Road 96 is another branching narrative game that we're thinking about playing. And then Witcher 3 is on our list. Witcher 3, I haven't played the other Witcher games, but I am super looking forward to this new Witcher. Playing as Ciri and so on. Ooh-wee. Well, if you want to recommend a game, exclamation point games in the chat. We'll get you a link. I do take those recommendations very seriously. We do need to figure out what it is. I have not eaten enough food today to continue streaming, so I think I'm going to set it down here to go back and eat and take care of some stuff that I got to do before we leave town to go to London Comic-Con. But I really appreciate you all joining us, and thank you for engaging me in this stream. I hope that I hope I didn't go off too much, but you know, I made a promise to myself when I first started dating Amelia, because I had not been successful in previous relationships, obviously, or I wouldn't have been single when I met Amelia. And I took on a kind of new ethos. You know, when you move to a new place, you can kind of reinvent yourself a little bit. And I'm not saying that I was like a compulsive liar or anything, but I really focused on honesty as like a core value. And I would journal about this little phrase of, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I really think that you gotta stand on what you believe in, but you also gotta make sure what you're saying is what you mean. And it can be easy to say things that you think people want to hear, or when you hear things that you don't really believe, being like, yeah, because it takes more courage to say like, no, that's a bad take, I don't like that, because I wanted to be likable, is what I'm getting at. Is I was more worried about being likable so that someone would want to date me, so that I would have like a long-term relationship or whatever, that I was like kind of like sacrificing my true integrity of my personhood. And so like after that didn't work a couple times, and I was like kind of like playing a character to continue the relationship, if that makes sense. And after that was done, I was like, I am only getting into a relationship where I am me the whole time. And that's what I found with Amelia. And I hope for you all, if you're, you know, looking for a partner or something, that you find someone, or you don't stop looking for someone until you're with someone that you are your whole self with all the time when you're with them. Yeah, exactly. You just worry about being yourself, and then the right people come to that, you know? So, you had your 1-year anniversary yesterday? Well, congrats to you. Congrats to you all. So, yeah. It's hard to say it's better to be alone than with the wrong person, but I think it is better to be alone than to be with the wrong person. Viola Wolf, thank you so much for being here. Holy wow, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Whoa! Big hug! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have I played the Life is Strange series? Yes. And the best one is Life is Strange True Colors. That's my favorite one. Viola Wolf, thank you so much. Appreciate you with that support. And if you got one of those gifted subs from Viola Wolf, please be sure to say thank you to them. Yeah, I don't really mean it so much as advice. I'm just maybe more of like a lesson that I learned, because I don't, like I said about it being, I can't, all I can do is tell you what helped me, and maybe it can be helpful for you. You know, can I say 28 stab wounds? I guess I just did. Can you say something else? Can you say it? Believe it or not, someone's asked me that before. All right, we're going to go on a little raid. I think the mods can usually pick up on the vibes. My mods did put together a really nice list of trailers. So I'm thinking maybe we do that tomorrow, and I don't go off on a tangent, and we go through and watch some trailers on tomorrow's stream, if that's cool, if you can join. Thank you for following on twitch.tv/Dechart Games. You can hear it in my voice that I'm kind of used up my speech. Sometimes when we don't have a game playing, I don't take enough of a break while I'm talking, and then I talk for 3 hours straight. My throat starts to get tired. GG. That's another thing that the union protects you for, by the way. They give you hazard pay, or they have to tell you about vocally stressful situations. So if you're working on a project and you're going to have to be yelling grenade for 2 hours, they have to give you a 15-minute break so you can drink some water. If you're in a non-union game, they can make you keep screaming the whole time. Union strong. Raven Wing Dragon, thank you for the cheers. All right, we'll check out game trailers tomorrow. That's going to be the plan. I will continue Ori and the Will of the Wisps when we come back, but it's not going to be before we leave, I think, and so on. Again, we'll be away for the next 2 weekends. We're going to go do some family travel before we go to London, and then we'll be in London on October. Well, what's the day before all that? What is the Thursday? The event is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're not going to be able to stream on the weekend of Comic-Con, the 23rd. Yeah, so 24th, 25th, 26th, if you can come and hang out with us. Wait. Holy shit. Wait, is this... They're playing Expedition 33 right now? Cool. Okay, so Jennifer English, who is awesome as Mayel in Expedition 33, is streaming Expedition 33 with a friend, I'm guessing, or another castmate, Aliona. So let's go show him some love, shall we? If you, as your partner, that's cool. Oh, I love that for them. Okay, partner and castmate. Fucking yes. Good for them. Good for them. That's good. Okay. I'm going to come with you then. Let's go on a raid. If you like what they're up to, drop them a follow. And Expedition 33 is, freaking awesome. And Jennifer's performance as Mayel is awesome. And I'm excited to see. Okay. Let me just get this up so that I'm there on the stream with you. All right, let's do it. Thank you, mods. Can we all get some mod love? Apologies for totally forgetting to take a hydration break today, but I just, you got me on a roll, rambling. Please say when we get there, we love you both in the game. Can that be our raid message? Or maybe we love you both. Great work in the game. We love you both. Great work in the game. We love you both. Great work in the game. Help me deliver this raid message, okay, team? So that it doesn't get lost in the chat. I'll say the same thing when we get there. I'll see you tomorrow. Miss Okami, thank you for the 5 gifted subs to the people of the town. Miss Okami, you love one. Miss Okami, I was speaking your praises just the other day. I was talking about, you know, I was just saying about the people I stream for. And I was talking with another streamer friend. And Miss Okami has been just such an incredible supporter of our stream for a really long time. And I want you to know that I really appreciate you. Thank you, Karina. Let's do it. Shall we do it? Okay. When the tough gets going, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Let's go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. My name is Brian. This is our Twitch. Have fun on the raid. 3, 2, 1. Raid, 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 raid.